start off with something a little funny, but it goes with the title of this live stream. Only say things that make me happy. Man gets dumped on election night for being right. I saw this title and I go, oh, I got to hear this, and it ended up being funny, so I'll play it. It's from Gianmarco Sorezzi's channel. Let's give him a like. Gianmarco Sorezzi. Here we go.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
But you did.
Yeah.
Who broke up with who? You to her, her to you?
It was on her.
It was on her.
Yeah.
That's one way of saying it.
That's a great way to say it. Who broke up with who? It was on her.
Yeah, we broke up. It was on her. How did she undo it?
It was a text during election night.
A text during election night? Oh my God! Okay, I got a couple questions.
I tell you, gay men are the funniest. I don't know if he's gay, but...
Question number one. Who did you vote for in that election? What was that?
I didn't vote.
You didn't vote. Okay.
He could be Canadian. Give him a break.
Oh, you're right. Kamala lost by 1 vote. Oh no, if only he had done it. That was the problem. It was only 1. That's how close she was in Michigan. What state do you live in?
Virginia.
Virginia. We do red or blue?
Blue.
Almost purple now.
But how did it go in the election? Blue, okay. So who gives a fuck?
Virginia's close to D.C. Has to be blue.
But did that have anything to do with her breaking up with you?
I said I didn't think Kamala was gonna win.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
she did it.
Wait!
His girlfriend broke up with him because he said Kamala wouldn't win. Gave his opinion.
This is the problem with Democrats, real quick. Let's just sidebar. You just said the facts. And she said we're breaking up.
Yeah, I'm a problem about patriarchy and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, my advice is this is to the younger men listening. Any woman who uses the P word, don't date her.
And do you have these text messages on you right now?
This is great.
Can I see them? Can I read them? Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my goodness. To give a stranger, a comedian, your phone.
It's not going to be funny, by the way. I've already seen it. It's like, please don't get to the funny. Okay. So she said, oh my God, I had a fucking breakdown tonight. The results of this election is scary. Trump is winning a lot of states.
Yes.
We all agree. We're all here.
Another piece of advice for young men listening. If a woman has a breakdown over politics and who's elected, don't date her.
Listen, if only my show was the one who voted, Jill Stein would have had a chance. Okay, so you said don't stress it.
That's nice.
So you tried to calm it down, you know.
I know I went wrong, but
Okay, then I'll read it. We'll see where you went wrong. Don't stress it. I don't believe policy changes much based on the face of the president.
No.
Okay, listen, guys.
He's right. I mean, policy is made up of thousands of people within the administration, Congress.
He's letting me read his text messages out loud. I promise you're sitting next to a Trump voter right now. They just know not to give their phone to a stand-up comedian. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a tighter race, but this is a sad blowout. Okay? And then you said, oh wait, she's catching up. What part of the night was this? Can you remind me?
Yeah. When was she catching up?
You were worried, yeah?
And you know what? It was the prediction. That's what threw me off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So she said, okay,
all the polls, threw him off.
good. I'm listening to
I would feel sorry to be a pollster. I mean, that's a dying industry.
the news now. And then you sent 173 to 190. Those are the electoral counts?
Oh, that was the prediction, I guess.
The prediction. Okay, cool. Last time I checked, it was 75, 175. Yeah. Honestly, though, I do think Trump is still going to win. I can't imagine the general population of America would vote Kamala.
Oh, you did not.
He is right, though. Oh my God, but he's right. He's right. Okay.
Those two women's expressions. How dare you say that?
Still going to win. I can't imagine the general population of America would vote Kamala.
Oh, you did.
Oh, you did not. How dare you speak the truth?
He is right, though. Oh my God, but he's right. He's right. Okay. Here we go. Now again, I promise every beat of this, everyone's gonna go, oh, and then I just want you to remember the conclusion, okay? So you said, I do think Trump is gonna win. I can't imagine the general population of America would vote Kamala. Why not? Because she's a woman? Now this is where you should have consulted a friend.
Because she's a Democrat woman. That would be the correct answer.
So what?
I take this to the bank. The next female president of the United States will be, the first female president of the United States will be a Republican. Take it to the bank, guaranteed.
Why not? Because she's a woman, and you simply said, yep. And she said, wow. And then I'm sure your dots went up for a couple minutes. You said only less likely choice for America as a president than someone of an ethnic background is of the female gender. Honestly, dude, I'm really disappointed to hear you say that. Not saying it should be that way, good for you. I believe that's how most people look at it. Keep in mind we live in an area of the country that is very different in terms of diversity or progressiveness compared to the majority of the country.
Yes or no?
And she said that's not true. Obama was elected and he's black. What you said really fucking pissed me off, and it was sexist, and it gives into the fucked up
Wasn't Kamala black? Yeah.
patriarchy we live in. That made me realize our personalities are too different and this isn't going to work. It was fun going on dates, but I need to end this. Our personalities are too different. Goodbye.
Our personalities are too different, meaning don't say things that make me feel sad.
And then you just wrote back, bitch. He didn't write that. So just to be clear, in your defense, you gave honestly what the Democratic Party has been saying for the last 2 months.
Exactly.
And she dumped you because of it. Honestly, if this turned you into a Trump voter, I wouldn't blame you.
It probably already is.
I think we all owe this man an apology. Thank you very much.
He kind of looks like the guy I golfed with yesterday. But then again, all dark people look the same to me.
Honestly, the real credit to you is that you did not text after Trump won. You could have. You could.
This guy's great.
In fact,
Let's do it right now.
when I put this video online, you could simply send the link.
Yeah, that was great. Well done, Gianmarco. That's a sign of a true comedian when you can just improv like that and convince someone to give them your phone and take something that's not that funny and actually sad and make it funny. I wanted to play. I like watching people who disagree with me. Although it's becoming apparent that people who traditionally are leaning left they're agreeing with people like me. So it's weird.
And that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Hypocrisy isn't illegal, nor is it particularly unusual in politics. It's not like he's ever going to run again, so why not take care of your kid? Even if you said you weren't gonna. I respect it. I don't have a problem with it. The problem is the rest of the Democrats made Biden's pledge to not pardon Hunter the foundation of their defense of America, this grand experiment.
Okay. Yeah, this was great by The Daily Show, Jon Stewart. For months, there was this setup that the Democrats are the good guys. The Democrats believe in the law. The Democrats are more moral than the Republicans because here we have Hunter Biden did some illegal things, and Biden says, no one's above the law, not even my son, and I will not pardon him. And unlike Trump, who blames the system, no, we're going to take our punishment like a man. My son will take it like a man.
One political party remains committed to the rule of law and the other doesn't. It's that simple.
Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. Democrats stand for the rule of law.
We accept the outcome because that's how the rule of law works.
Because the justice system that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what does.
I think I know what does. And now look at the dance Democrats have to do.
Be honest, the only reason why they went after Hunter the way they did, and I've talked to many federal prosecutors about this, is because he's the president's son.
People have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political witch hunts.
The, crowing from Republicans, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally pardoned his daughter's
yes, I will do call-ins,
father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France.
So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror.
Ma'am, we will take a look in that mirror, but we are taking off, so...
I'll do call-ins later. Soon, though.
If you could just put this shit on airplane mode and let us get home for the holidays!
By the way, I've said this for a long time. The president of the United States is indeed above the law, by definition. And same with governors. Anybody who can do pardons is saying, I saw what the justice system has done, and I'm going to disagree with it, and I'm going to reverse it. That's being above the law.
Yes. To everything that you guys were saying, if you hadn't made Hunter Biden not receiving a pardon the Mason-Dixon line of morality between Democrats and Republicans, there's a big gap between the law is the only thing that separates us from the animals and the monkey threw shit at me first. I had no choice. This is what Biden's decision has done.
Yep.
Look how confident and eloquent our Democratic representatives were back when they thought they had the moral high ground on this issue.
I've not heard a single Democrat anywhere in the country cry fraud, cry fixed, cry rigged.
Okay, what he's talking about here is when Hunter Biden was indicted and charged and convicted, he's explaining how great the Democrats were compared to Trump and Trump supporters.
Country cry fraud, cry fixed, cry rigged, cry kangaroo court. You don't hear a single peep out of any Democrat saying that why we believe in the rule of law.
And now look at what even he, one of the most verbally dexterous attorneys we have on Capitol Hill, has been reduced to.
Do you think President Biden should pardon Hunter Biden?
So there are lots of claims of political prosecution and political.
And was Hunter politically?
Well, I mean, obviously that's a judicial point, and you've got to look at what the evidence is. And I don't know.
This sort of thing is why the Democrats lost.
Yeah, so along with other reasons. Should the president pardon him?
I mean, again, that is a unilateral executive power, power that
And should he use it?
Well, the power exists for the president to show mercy for people.
I mean, we have an executive, and we have a judicial, and then a legislative, and then smoke bomb. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. First time I've crouched since Thanksgiving, and
crouching on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that did not go well. But then why this weekend? Normally you drop a controversial pardon like the way you buy porn at a gas station in a flurry of other distracting purchases and pardons.
Yeah, so Hunter Biden must have had a nice little crying session with his dad. Please, Dad, pardon me. But this is the short I just made today, outlining that exactly what Jon Stewart was saying, that if you say no one's above the law, and then you say that just because you don't like the verdict doesn't mean you start whining and crying about it. Well, this is exactly what Joe Biden did.
That no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
CNN has learned President Biden will pardon his son, Hunter Biden. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. It is interesting to also hear him saying essentially that the justice system was politicized, which is something we've heard from Republicans and Donald Trump as well.
Yeah, so the newscasters are starting to, or at least they get it, at least some of them. But Joe Biden's doing exactly what he accused Trump of doing. Saying, Trump saying, you can't see me. Joe Biden is doing exactly what he accused Trump of doing, that you're basically saying this is all politically motivated. Now he's saying the same thing about his son. This is politically motivated, which doesn't make sense to me because don't the Democrats own the judicial system as the Democratic Party? None of this makes sense. And of course, I can understand why a father would want to pardon his son, but don't say months ago that I won't pardon my son, knowing full well the charges and everything. It's obvious he just thought that the Democrat Party would win and then can pardon him a little later, maybe. I don't know. It's totally broke, needs fixing. The judicial system, you're saying, Jeremy Brown? I find it more annoying seeing this guy being reasonable when other times he's full-throated, defends woke race and trans issues. Yeah, no, that doesn't bother me when I see people like Jon Stewart being reasonable and Bill Maher. After a while, you just can't deny reality. You can try to deny reality, but it just slaps you in the face. And so it's very interesting to see I wish I could get inside their brains and know what they're really thinking. Like, would they vote for Trump? Or is it just January 6th is so awful, democracy, so he's a threat to democracy? When you can name other things that the Biden-Harris administration has done, that's also a threat to democracy, like allowing in millions of people into this country who faked claiming asylum and then have a plan for amnesty for them. Like, that's long-term threat to democracy if you're doing it illegally. Don't forget that accepting a pardon is admitting guilt. It's not the same as being exonerated. Well, yeah, but I don't think anybody claims, not even Biden claims, that Hunter's innocent. But the real hypocrisy is number one, saying that nobody's above the law, which is false. The President of the United States is above the law. Well, that's not hypocrisy. That's just being wrong. Number two, saying that I will not pardon my son, and then pardon him, and then give the reason that it's politically motivated, when earlier he said just because Trump thinks this is politically motivated, we have to accept the results of the judiciary system. And now he's not accepting the results of the judiciary system for the exact same reason Trump doesn't. I don't know how you can be a Democrat and not see this. I think if you're a reasonable if you're a Democrat and you still don't see this, try this. Don't give a crap about the Democratic Party. Don't give a crap that our democracy is going to end because Trump's elected. Don't care about anything. Pretend you're already dead and you cannot be hurt, harmed. You just don't care. And then you can see it. This is great advice for any type of debate or argument. Just don't care. And then you can very quickly, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because there's no emotional attachment then. Does someone want to call in? I got other things I could watch, but I'd rather talk to people. Let me give you the link. Biden should pardon Trump. Well, that would be interesting if he would do that. But then if Biden were to pardon Trump, then his secret security detail would have to be increased tenfold. He'd be hated so much. Monarchy is more efficient than consensus. That's true. Dictatorship is way more efficient than even a monarchy. Well, no, I guess monarchy and dictatorship can be very similar. All of Trump's charges have been dismissed already. I don't think that's true. I think there's still the Georgia case. Well, that's on a thread, hanging on by a thread. We need Matt Delante to call in. Yeah, that will never happen. Okay, I pinned the link if someone wants to call in. I sometimes like watching political shows that are very far left. There's a guy that I talked to on P.F. Young's channel, this guy. And he always has this is some insider information. I think he told this to me privately, but he's doing well. He has 433,000 subscribers, and I asked him, "Oh, what's your secret?" And he said, like, put very triggering titles in. And I remember when I made some shorts, I tried it just for fun. Clickbait. And yeah, he does it. But I think you lose credibility after a while. Peers triggered. Joe Rogan nuked by his ex-guest. Like, do you really think? I don't understand. Hello, thanks for the donation, Vash Volva. Thoughts on the president of Argentina and Cap? No, I have no thoughts on the Argentina president. Abortion, abortion ban, is that your name?
Yes.
Yes. And we've talked before, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. You're still
Good evening. How are you?
You're still on the abortion thing?
I don't want to talk about that today, even though it's very important. But let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I agree. You know, we shouldn't kill babies.
But I was wondering what you thought about like how hopeful are you about the Trump administration, making some like permanent wins, because like the first Trump administration,
I'm very hopeful.
you're more hopeful.
Yeah, and it's you want to know why?
Yeah. Give me some reasons.
Okay, number one,
the most powerful reason.
In January of 2017, late 2016, I don't think Trump really was convinced he was going to win, and so he wasn't prepared, and like with cabinet picks and all that sort of thing. So he got the ball off rolling very slowly. This election time is completely different.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's definitely, looks like he has some more kind of, solid picks.
Didn't he nominate a gay guy? I mean, I thought he was a transphobe, bigot, terrible guy. And then he also, I think, nominated a Democrat and a union person. I mean, what is this bigot guy, racist Trump doing?
Did you see, Scott Presler? Did you hear about Scott Presler?
Name rings a bell vaguely.
He was responsible for the trying to get the Amish out to vote in Pennsylvania. Did you hear about that story?
Well, I heard the Amish voted for Trump.
Yeah, and it seems like it might have been like an important piece to the Pennsylvania victory, and he's gay. That Scott Pensler guy, and but it seems like he should be rewarded. It seems like he did some really kind of badass achievement.
Well, I never got why the Amish would vote left to begin with. Like I was raised Mennonite. I still view myself Mennonite culturally, and at least the Canadian Mennonites in Manitoba, they vote right usually.
Yeah, but I think Amish normally stay out of politics. But
yeah, that's true. So do Mennonites. They kind of stay out of politics. They definitely don't do political service or public service because they think their Mennonites have this grandiose idea that they're above and beyond this world.
Do Mennonites kind of buy settlements and like only allow other Mennonites to live amongst them, like kind of Amish do?
No, they're not communal. Amish and Hutterites and Mennonites all come from the same Anabaptist branch, but then they're various twigs. The Hutterites are communal. The Amish are less communal directly, but sort of like live together. I think their own separate land packages, whereas the Hutterites, they own one land package or land packages, but it's like a corporation that owns it. And Mennonites, they don't do that at all. But they Mennonites are very tribal in the sense that if your car breaks down, you're going to go to your Mennonite friend to fix it, not the English. That's what they call them, the English in Canada.
Okay, cool. Do you have any sense of how those three groups are doing birth rate wise? Like who's the best at sort of keeping their birth rates high?
Who's the best out of those three groups?
Yeah,
the Hutterites. Then I would say Amish, then Mennonites.
Okay, cool. Are Mennonites still above replacement level?
I believe so, but I don't even know if they would actually have stats on that.
Okay, yeah.
But let me put it this way: I have. Well, a lot of them have passed on now, but I have at one time had 50 first cousins.
That's wonderful.
On one side of the family, 50.
That's fantastic. Good work, your grandfather and grandmother. But so let's get back to this Trump stuff. Like here's something that I'm worried about with the new Trump administration, which is that kind of when you're planning to launch a coup and win something, you normally don't tell your opponent what you're planning to do. Like Ron DeSantis, for example, when he announces things after it's already happened, like after he's already won. So he'd be like, oh yeah, we've just purged these people, we've just done this legislation. But he doesn't say, oh, I'm going to do this beforehand and give his enemies time to prepare. But that's exactly what the Trump this kind of pre-administration is doing. It's like, oh, we're going to get rid of these people, and then we're going to do this. And don't you think they should just kind of hold their cards close to their chest and then just swoop in and
No. I think transparency is good, and I think when you have the power, like if you're confident that you're going to win the Senate, the House, and the executive, and you already know you have the Supreme Court leaning to your side, you can make these announcements. And then the people can see and vote, say, oh, this is what you want to do? Okay, then I'll either vote for you or not.
But like, I mean, Trump's already won the mandate, the sort of democratic mandate. So he's kind of he's told everyone, like, here's what I'm going to do, and if you want that, then vote for me. And everyone says, yes, we want this. And now that he's got that democratic mandate, he doesn't need to sort of try and be popular with the average people anymore. Like he can.
Well, no, he still has to listen to his base and the Republican Party. I don't think Republicans, people on the left might think Republicans will just do whatever Trump says. No, I think if Trump doesn't fulfill his promises this time, like I think the first time, like I said, Trump wasn't ready. There's many things he promised to do and he didn't, like build the wall all the way across, or at least the majority. I think this time he'll do it. And if he doesn't, then people like me and others will say, bad Trump.
Do you want, for part of what Trump is doing, do you want part of it to be that him sort of gaining back some ground against wokeness and that sort of thing?
He already has.
But like, what wokeness isn't just it's not just like what people vote in elections. It's also about like what legislation is enacted and what people you have in the positions of power, what civil servants you have. And so if you want to sort of purge kind of woke people from these positions of power, then it's you can't just like be straightforward and say, here's what I'm going to do. Like,
why not?
It's better because then if you're giving your opponents like the
opponents have no power.
No, but here's what they can do. Here's what they can do. Like, let's say you're a bureaucrat at the Department of Education, and you consider it your life's mission to help critical race theory be more and more sort of inculcated or whatever into the school system. And you know that Trump's going to come into power. Like, now that you've heard kind of Trump saying like, oh, here's what we're going to do, and you've heard like JD Vance saying, oh yeah, we need to purge all these people. You
think they're going to lie?
Yeah, you can start deleting your emails. You can start sort of wearing a mask, saying like, so that's, you can like just hunker down for 4 years, and then you won't be replaced. You're less likely to be replaced from your post. That's just one example of something.
Sure, you could try to do that, but Trump's the type of guy, and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, they're the type of guys say, if there's any doubt in their mind, you're just fired. And we'll get someone we know we can trust.
But there aren't, like, there's many positions, right? And have you noticed how, like, lots of the people that Trump is finding for these kind of appointees, he's borrowing them from Florida, because like DeSantis has already like built up this kind of solid kind of right-wing sort of group of people, and Trump's now borrowing them to kind of give them sort of Washington positions for his new sort of administration. I know, I just feel like DeSantis's political maneuvering and wielding of power seems more effective than Trump and Vance's kind of sort of naive public facing kind of, here's what we're going to do.
So you wish that Trump was more conniving and clever and surreptitious.
Yes.
You're a bad Republican.
Here's the ideal politician. The ideal politician is Trump to win elections, then Ron DeSantis to wield power. That's what you want, surely.
I want a president to say what he's going to do and then do it. Like, if I vote for him, if the president, if Harris would have won, then I want her to fail.
No, but what if saying what you want to do makes it less likely that it will happen? Then surely it's better kind of not to.
But I disagree with that premise.
Okay, but also you don't need that, because you could vote for a president who has your interests at heart, because you've made this character judgment of him, and so even if kind of he doesn't say exactly what his policies will be, kind of once you decide, okay, he's on our side and I've judged that his interests are my interests. Even if you don't say what your exact game plan is, I trust you, so wield power however you think will be best for our shared interests. Like, I think that's another possibility versus kind of just laying out exactly, here's who I'm going to fire, here's all the people who I don't like who currently have jobs, and in 3 months' time I'm going to come for them. Like, you're just giving them an opportunity to, like, sort of start building their defenses and their counterattacks.
Let them.
Their obfuscations, because civil servants, their whole job, their whole career experience is to either they know how to help politicians or to frustrate politicians. They know how to get in the way of politicians. They're the people who have been here for 20, 30
I am
years.
more worried about Republicans than I am Democrats.
Yeah, that's another possibility. Like, for example, Matt Gaetz, like, hasn't Trump already been defeated in terms of he wanted Matt Gaetz and now he hasn't got Matt Gaetz?
It depends if you believe he's playing 3D chess or not.
But what do you think is the more likely one?
I actually agree with some pundits who think that Trump would be happy if Matt Gaetz was confirmed, and he was happy if he wasn't, because he has a great replacement. But he would also get to see which Republicans are kind of on his side on this or not. So he was gathering information. In that sense, Trump was brilliant by nominating Gaetz.
But if
that's what he actually did.
Okay, but if there's any time to sort of bring people to heel and bring them in line, it's surely during the first conflict. Like, if you give in,
the Republicans won so bigly. It's not the job of the United States president to heal people's emotions.
No, you don't understand what I'm. Or maybe you do. What I meant was that, like, kind of, if there is a potential problem of these other Republicans frustrating Trump, then the time that you want to sort of nip that in the bud and come down like a ton of bricks is during the first time that they rebel. And so this is the first time that they rebel, and they've won a victory.
Well, you heard what Elon Musk threatened, right?
What did he threaten?
He threatened that any Republican senator who goes against President Trump's, what he's promised to do in his mandate, if they go against it, Elon Musk will fund primaries against that senator in the next election.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the sanctions.
Which is legal.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one of the sanctions that Trump, I think, should have threatened in order to make sure that Matt Gaetz was appointed, because now that these rebellious Republicans have, like, won this victory.
Did you see the short I made on this? I got to let you go soon because there's other people went on. But did you see the short I made on Matt Gaetz? Like, the people who said Matt Gaetz is a horrible guy because of sex trafficking, everything that he's accused of, of course he did it. I brought up the comparison to Trump saying Haitians are eating cats and dogs, that there's no credible evidence that Haitians are eating pets like cats and dogs. Well, there's no credible evidence that Gaetz is guilty of these crimes. So at least that hasn't been made public. And I said this to a friend of mine, not on live stream, but I made that comparison and he was furious. And what it boils down to is, I feel sorry for Haitians, so then it's good to say, I mean, it's just, you don't make these accusations against Haitians because I feel sorry for Haitians. But they don't feel sorry for Gaetz. He's a evil Republican in their minds. So you can make these accusations without credible evidence. So anyhow, I thought that was clever of me.
Yeah.
You are a Republican, right?
Yeah.
Or are you even American?
I'm not American, no. But
you had an accent that screamed you weren't American.
Yeah, but I think the more the right wins in America, the more likely it will help the right wing win in other places. So I'm not without a dog in the fight, I guess, in some respects.
Well, yeah, because Trump basically will control the world now, right?
Hopefully.
Did you see what he did to the Canadian Prime Minister? I mean,
I saw the headline, but I haven't read it yet.
Here, I got to do a visual. I always have dental floss on my desk because I believe in good hygiene. So imagine this dental floss is the Prime Minister of Canada. This is Trump, my finger. Trump just wrapped him around his finger. Now Canada is bending the knee to Trump and saying we will beef up our security on the northern border. I mean, they just are so terrified of the tariffs coming in. This is what tariffs are a great thing. It's a manipulative ploy to get other countries to do what you want them to do. And if it doesn't work, you can always take them back off. But anyhow, thanks for calling in. What's your first name?
I'm not going to give that.
Okay, I'll call you Bob. Thanks for calling in, Bob.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Bye. McKay.
Hello.
Hi. Are you the guy in the live stream chat who wants to call in and debate me?
No, that's not me.
Oh,
No.
okay. Yeah, that other guy is probably too scared to call in, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah.
You're not scared.
Nope.
Are you on my side, or are you here to push against me?
No, I'm pretty much on your side. I'm okay with everything that's going on right now on the politics side. I just want to get some of your thoughts and like what's going on in the politics world. I guess my question right now is like, do you have any concerns with Donald Trump, like with his election? Do you have any concerns with that right now?
Do I have any concerns that Donald Trump is president of the United States?
Because really my concern right now is if like, could the pendulum like go to the complete other side, of the politics,
Yeah. If I have any concern, it's that things are going too good. And, there's a bit of Murphy's Law in me. Like, there's so many people, even on the Democrat side, who are kind of like poo-pooing their own party and saying, well, what screw-ups you are. It's just, everything is going so well, it kind of scares me a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
It's like the stock market. Like if you buy a stock and it goes up and up and up, and he's like, nothing can go wrong. Well, as you get older, you realize, oh, maybe tomorrow it's all going to come crashing down. But as far as right now, no, I don't have any concerns. Like I'm not. There's nothing in me that thinks that Trump's going to be a dictator or that he's going to run for a third term or do anything like that. I don't think he's a threat to democracy. I am totally encouraged that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are doing the efficiency thing, because that was my main fear, that the Trump presidency wouldn't actually target the deficit problem. So, but now it looks like they will.
Yeah, right. I'm not really concerned about it either. But what's crazy is I've been seeing so many people online. Like I saw that Bible scholar Dan McClellan that you made that response to, where he was saying all these things of like, oh, you're letting this sexual predator in the house.
Serial sexual predator, he called Trump.
Right. And it's just been very surreal to see that, especially someone who's my age, who's like pretty young. Just kind of see how, I don't know, like divisive, and how you could say the same thing about Kamala Harris and all the things she's done.
She a sexual predator too?
I don't know, but it's just been weird to see all that. I don't know. It's just been strange.
Yeah. But Dan McClelland, it boggles my mind. He couldn't see that within himself when he was talking about cliques and groups and tribes. It causes you to have this instinct to give excuses and justifications and lash out. Surely he can see that within his own self and people like him, but maybe he can't. I don't know.
Right, exactly. I've also seen people, do you know 12 Angry Men, the movie?
Yeah, I watched it about a year ago.
Yeah, so people always use this clip where this guy who's like a bigot, and like all the other characters turn around him, and I've seen recently use that like, oh, this is how we could do this against Trump, and he's the bigot. And I'm saying, well, that could exactly apply to you just as much as you're saying to Trump. I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just been strange, and yeah.
Can I ask how old you are? Are you in your 20s, 30s?
Early 20s.
Early 20s. Okay. And you voted for Donald Trump, I'm assuming?
Yeah, this is like my first time voting. So I decided to vote for Trump.
Without thinking too much, can you give me one or two reasons why you voted for Trump? Like, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Man.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but what's the first thing that pops in your head? Why'd you vote for Trump?
I think because he's kind of against the system, and he seems like he'll get rid of all the problems with the government right now. And frankly, I think he's a lot funnier than Kamala Harris. And as a Gen Z, I kind of appeal to that.
You know what? Thank you for your honesty. There's going to be Democrats listening to this, and I think you know this, who will say these are terrible reasons. But I actually think that a lot of people do vote this way. You said he's funnier than Kamala Harris. There's no question he's funnier than Kamala. Like, right. he's quick. Sure, he's getting old, and he stumbles around once in a while with his words, but for the most part, like, he's sharp.
Yeah, and he seems like he knows what he's going to do, especially in this.
He can talk without a teleprompter, unlike Kamala. Yeah. But for me, it was immigration. That was number one. Critical theory was probably a close second. Foreign affairs was another one. Those were my big three. I didn't have any illusions that the Republican Party would do better fiscally, but now I actually think they will be significantly better than if Harris would have won. So yeah, that's just icing on the cake.
Right, and it's been, as a Gen Z or myself, it's been hard with the housing market. And I think that Trump will help that a lot more than Kamala Harris, especially.
Well, I wouldn't bet on that. I'm a free market guy, so if the free market says the price of home is X, then that's what it is. But yeah, there's little things they can do to make it easier. Like, I think making it easier to build homes on land without doing 6 to 12 months of environmental studies. Like, get rid of that. Like, who cares if gophers die? Like, let's just put up houses. And I do think big corporations like BlackRock shouldn't be allowed to buy private homes. Even though I'm a free market guy, I'm not against all regulations, and I think that might be a good one. But do you have good parents?
Yeah, I love my parents.
Do you live at home?
Yes, currently. I'll be off to college in January.
Okay. Who's paying for your college? You, your parents, or someone else?
It'll be, so I have like a couple of grants that I have from getting good grades, so that'll help.
Excellent.
My parents will help out, and I'll pay. It's kind of like a team effort that we're doing.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say that I think I found a recipe on how young people like yourself can actually become millionaires, buy their first home, and that the key is to live at home as long as possible if your parents allow it. Don't bother your parents. Make sure they love to have you there, and then save, work and save. Now, but if you're going to university, going to school with a high potential of getting a return on your tuition dollar, then yeah, of course, do it. But both my kids are on pace. They're saving like $30,000 a year minimum, like minimum wage jobs. You can actually become a millionaire with minimum wage jobs if you have good parents who will say, yes, you can, free room and board. You got to do, of course, clean up after yourself and don't be a pest in the home, that sort of thing.
Right.
But try to save $100,000 and then invest it, and then don't touch it. And then by the time you're 65, you'll have $1 million, and then you can do what you want as far as career goes. But yeah, save up $100,000 as fast as you can.
Right. Okay. Yeah, appreciate that. That sounds good.
Okay, thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is the guy who's been anxious to talk to me.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. You like to.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. You like to type a lot in the live stream chat.
My brother, I'm a big guy. I'm a gangster. Nothing scares me. So I kind of voice my opinion every once in a while, yeah.
Well, that's great.
What's up, PineCreek? Nice to see you. I'm live right now. Is that cool?
You're live too? Excellent. What's the name of your channel?
Yeah, but my channel is so much smaller than yours. I mean, you're a huge guy to me.
Well, you mean my channel?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were talking about...
you are a bit older. No.
Family Jewels. What's the name of your channel?
Manar Reports. My name is Manar.
Manar.
Nice to meet you.
Manar. That's strange.
Yeah, I'm Syrian.
Oh, you're Syrian. I like Syrians.
Syrian blood. Yeah, man. I really like your channel. A lot of my viewers like you here. I don't know if you know Nick. Nick, I don't know if he types over at your chat, but he really likes you. He thinks you're a very reasonable guy. So I guess we just wanted to have a chat with you, see what your thoughts are on the Biden pardon, how the Democrats are going to move forwards. And to be honest, are you like more centrist or more conservative?
No, I'm an evil right-winger.
Okay, so would you say you're religious? Is that why?
No. Why do you have to be religious to be a right-winger?
Well, how are you conservative if you're not religious?
Well, because I think, for example, having one father, one mother raising kids in a white picket fence home is great.
So I guess the question would be, why are you not religious then? If it's great to follow the traditional values of religious people, you see that your secular community, wherever you follow
great question. I'll tell you why I'm not religious. Because I don't believe a man rose from the dead 2,000 years ago. I don't believe a prophet got the very words of Allah from an angel named Gabriel in a cave.
Okay, can I present you a logical argument and see if you can defeat it or bring your own solution?
But for what? A logical argument for what?
A logical argument for the necessity of an objective entity to guide your morality.
Okay, so we're now shifting from politics to theism. Here we go.
Wait, we'll jump right back to politics. Don't worry about
that's
that.
fine.
I have a lot of questions about Biden.
I haven't talked about theism in a while, so this will be fun.
Let's do it. I thought you were actually Christian, so I was never going to even bring up religious.
No, I'm an atheist.
Okay, so as an atheist, I have to deal with you a little bit, and maybe plant a seed, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you got to deal with me very carefully because, you know, I have the truth suppressed in unrighteousness.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Don't worry, I'm going to take you step by step.
Hang on, are you Muslim or Christian?
Muslim, yes.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so here's the argument. This is a logical argument. I will never appeal to science. I will never bring you out scripture.
Okay.
This is just me talking to you about what I believe logically, and if you disagree with me, go ahead. You have to actually create the disagreement. You have
Lay it on me. I got my pen. I'll lick it.
Yeah. Pull it out, because I'm going to give you two premises and a conclusion, and then a solution to the conclusion, which is going to solve the dilemma. The conclusion is a dilemma. It's a logical dilemma. I'm going to solve it for you, but then you're not going to like my solution, and so you're going to have to either concede the dilemma or give your own solution, okay? So the first premise is humans are subjective entities. Go ahead. Do you agree or disagree?
Humans are subjective entities. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Second, very reasonable. I know, I'm a very smart guy. And next position is... next position is... I wish I could turn on my camera. You would have seen something beautiful. So next position is... next premise is... subjective entities amoral. So this is if P then Q, and then if Q then R.
Wait, hang on. What is it? Subjective entities are what?
Is amoral. Amoral is a placeholder word to fill in for the word I want to use, because I cannot find a word in the dictionary to use.
Amoral. Okay. Subjective entities are amoral?
Amoral. Amoral as in not like animals. They don't know morality. Amoral as in they don't know if they're being moral or not. There's no actual word in the dictionary to describe what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so my guess is, yeah, that's the one we're going to talk about. But you want to jump to the conclusion?
So the conclusion to those, if P then Q, if Q then R, is if P then R. So this is an implication argument. So the
humans are amoral.
Yeah, humans are amoral forever. I'll add that in. And then I'll solve the dilemma. I will solve this conclusion. The only way to solve this conclusion, and you cannot say that, if you're going to try to argue that I'm illogical or doesn't map onto reality or this is fallacious, but the truth is my argument is believed by millions and billions of people. The argument is there has to be an objective entity that follows from this dilemma that guides you using either some kind of guide, and usually all guides are written down because that's how we move. That's how we can.
Well, I can stop you right here. I agree with your argument.
All right, then that's it. So you have to believe there's an objective entity that exists.
No. The conclusion of your argument is humans are amoral forever.
Exactly. You either have to concede that humans are amoral forever, or I can solve it for you, and I'll.
What do we need to solve?
Well, humans cannot be immoral forever because you have to. Okay, let me explain to you what morality means. Do you agree that being immoral? Let's agree that morality is linked to the success of your society. Can we agree there?
Well, hang on. Okay. See, now we need another argument, right? Because I've agreed with this argument.
Because you're not allowed to be immoral forever. You're not allowed that because it destroys your society. I'm trying to show you how it will destroy your society to be immoral forever.
See, I have a feeling we got a problem with, like, ontologically. You know what that word means?
Ontologically, like the definition?
Yeah, like ontologically, like the essence of being. I do think humans are amoral. It's what makes a human moral or immoral is what they do. But who they are, I think, is an amoral judgment. We've got to wait to see what they do to call them moral or immoral.
But I'm telling you.
Do you agree with that?
Well, I'll tell you what happens. It appears to you they're being moral, but you actually don't know. You don't know because, and I'll map it out to all of history. All of history, it appeared that we're being moral. Then the next generation comes forward and tell us, hey, how about we scrap all this modernity, morality, and all of it, the whole moral system, this modern value system, and let's reintroduce a whole new set of moralities. And this happens every generation.
If I am comatose, let's say for my whole life, I was born that way, am I immoral, moral, or amoral?
If you are comatose,
yeah, but I have no brain activity, but I'm alive. I haven't done anything. Am I moral, immoral, or amoral?
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give you whatever answer you want me to give. You could be all three.
No, I want your honest opinion. What am I?
Sure, you are being moral. I don't know.
Moral? Why am I moral if I'm comatose?
Because you're not actually affecting the society in a detrimental manner.
Right, but neither am I affecting it in a great manner, moral manner either.
Yeah, but the argument you're making is a fallacious argument because we don't look at comatose.
I'm asking a question. Our questions aren't arguments. I'm asking.
Sure. Okay. So I'm playing the question game, but like we're going to
nowhere. There's not playing. We're not. This is. You know who Joe Rogan is?
Sure.
Yeah, we're having a Joe Rogan experience right now. We're just laid back. We're relaxing. We're talking here.
I'll tell you right now, a comatose, I don't care if he's being moral or not. Because he's not the one affecting
society. I'm going to ask you politely to care about the question. If I'm comatose, or even think of a baby,
came from PineCreek. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just born. A baby's just born. Okay. At that moment, is that baby moral, immoral, or amoral? What word would you say is closest?
Man, what answer you want me to give you, and I'll give you so we can continue.
I don't want. I have no desire for you to speak for you. I want to know your opinion.
To me, he's is in a neutral position because actions are the way I can look at.
Yes. Neutral position, which would be closest.
Can I explain why? Because actions and their consequences are the only way I can tell if somebody's being moral.
That's what I said just a few minutes ago.
Okay, so they're neutral, but is everybody
neutral means amoral, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I agree with your two premises and conclusion. Humans are amoral. It's based on what they do is when you now can judge them as being immoral or moral.
Okay.
Should we say thanks for calling in at this point?
What did you get to right now? What did you get to? This is why I didn't want to play the game because you just created the conclusion and I'm out of it. I'm out of the picture. I don't know what you created the conclusion about. Based on the question.
All I said is that I agree with premise 1. I can even agree with premise 2, but there's definitions to be had there. And your conclusion, I think it's sound, it's valid. Humans are amoral. Now you added the word forever, and I think that was unfair because premise 1 and 2 never had the word forever in it.
Here's what I actually am asking you, since you totally agreed that this is a sound and valid, and we moved on from that question. Can you actually tell me how humans can be moral for the rest of history? Go ahead.
For the rest of history?
Yeah, like you have to be able to prove that they can always be moral. How are they going to do that?
Why do I have to prove that?
Guiding
I don't think they can do that, but...
Okay, then, so what you're arguing for is you are arguing for humanity to be amoral forever. You're making like that, you're saying this is a good argument, we should just...
No, I'm not even arguing that. I think humans do things, and sometimes they do moral things, and sometimes they do immoral things.
Okay.
But ontologically, I'd say humans are amoral.
You agree with me being moral is important to the benefit of society?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you agree with me that we want all humans to be moral all the time? That's why, like, for example, I'll give you an example for this. Legal framework of a country could be the closest thing to its moral value system. And the reason the legal framework is so important is because we want everyone to follow the
You're promoting Sharia law here, aren't you?
If we don't, we destroy the society, correct or wrong?
Yeah, I think good laws help society become more moral, yeah.
Okay, so you agree that we should follow laws in order for society to be benefited, correct? And if we don't follow laws, society gets detrimented, correct? That's why laws exist.
Depends on the laws, of course. Some laws do you believe some laws are bad?
Sure, I agree with you. Yeah, they're subjective entities creating these laws, so they're going to do the best they can.
And laws are subjective too, right?
Yeah, everything is subjective. That's why actually this is a part of why you can never.
Well, not everything, not all.
Actually, be moral. Yeah, everything's subjective. You can appear to be objective, but it's the second you get close to objectivity, you die off, and then your next person has to restart all over again. So you can never get to true objectivity.
Are you Muslim or are you Hindu?
No, I'm Muslim.
You sounded like a Hindu just now, but anyhow, okay.
Well, no, the only objective being is God. So listen. So here's the. So let's continue. So you agree that humans are amoral forever. I'm solving.
No, I did not agree with that. Depends on what they do. Depends what they do. Ontologically, they're.
Let me give you an example. So I'll give you an example, and then you explain to me which one of them is moral. There's two secular communities. I'm going to give you a real life example. Canada and America. Canada currently, 2016, they made self-assisted suicide, direct self-assisted suicide legal. And like I said, legal framework of a country is the closest thing you can know to its moral value system. So if we say that the legal framework of a country is its moral values, that means if Canada self-assisted suicide, direct self-assisted suicide is allowed and is moral, basically it's legal. And then in America, it's illegal, completely illegal to commit any self-assisted suicide, I think, except in California. I'm not sure. California is crazy.
As soon as you say except, then of course it's...
No, I don't think it's even in California. No, but I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to protect myself because California is insane. They have like 9-month abort. They're insane. They're insane.
Yeah, we should sell California to Canada, I think.
Give it back to them, man, please.
Anyways, well, they never have it.
So if which one of these two secular nations is a moral nation? This is what I'm trying to.
Based on that one criteria. Based on that one criteria, I would say.
Based on that one. Yeah. One thing is basically one guy believes murder is okay. One guy believes murder is wrong. Which one of them is moral?
See, I don't think assisted suicide is murder. And especially in the case of Canada, because by murder is the unjustified, unlawful killing. So if it's legal in Canada, then it's not murder.
Do you agree it's homicide with intent?
Yes.
Okay, so it's
but
homicide
it's legal.
With intent. It's not malicious intent. It's homicide with intent, and do you agree it's premeditated?
I'm okay with assisted suicide.
Homicide with intent. Okay, so it's homicide with intent. It's just not malicious, and it's premeditated. So it covers all the definitions, the three definitions for what murder is, except that's malicious in intent. And I don't know how you can claim that this is not a malicious intent to remove somebody's life from his soul.
No,
anyway,
I think there's cases where it's noble and great.
Oh, it's charity to remove that person's soul, right? It's
Have you ever seen someone suffer?
Oh, so it's an act of charity to kill him.
Yep.
That's your argument here. Is possibly there's an act of charity when you remove somebody's soul.
Well, I don't believe souls exist, but.
So this is why the religious person has in his heart, he's not allowed to suicide. Do you see that? Because what's happening...
I understand why you would think it's wrong, but we just have a disagreement.
I know. Okay, that's fine. So
and if society agrees with me more than you, then it becomes a law, and then it's not illegal killing. Therefore, it's not murder anymore. And I think it's very dangerous, and it can be misused. But done properly, I do not want to see people suffer. Horrendous suffering takes place in this world. Look, we treat animals better. Like if you see a dog who's been hit by a car and you see its guts hanging out but it's still alive, wouldn't you kill it?
I mean, wouldn't you say it's to end its suffering, it should be that you take it to the vet instead of just step on its head?
No, it's obvious it's going to die. Like the guts are spilling out.
So you're a medical doctor?
Oh my goodness.
You're saying it's obvious. I'm just claiming.
I was raised on a farm. There's obvious.
It appears to you.
There's
It
obvious.
appears to be obvious.
There's obvious cases where animals are going to die, but they're suffering while they do it. And I've actually had to kill my own dog once. It got hit by.
You had to kill him.
Yeah.
And it was an act of charity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, so that's absolutely amazing that you can actually.
You're probably a city boy who's never had to live in the real world where you've seen suffering of animals or humans. Have you ever even seen a human suffer?
Yeah, I know. It's an act of charity to kill anything that suffers. I get it. That's your argument, right?
Right. And do you disagree?
I 100% disagree. Murdering somebody can never be an act of charity. Ever.
Why? Why not?
It just cannot be because.
Give me an argument why it can never be.
Him suffering would be better for him.
What if? Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question now, and I want you to answer honestly.
Can I ask you a question before you go? Do you agree that suffering could be potentially good for you? For example, fasting.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm talking about egregious. What I'm talking about is egregious suffering.
That all suffering is not necessarily horrible and negative.
So, if Allah told you to kill a dog because it's suffering, would you do it?
Absolutely not.
If Allah told you.
It's a suffering dog. Go kill it. No, I'll be like, why?
So you would disobey
Why can't
Allah.
we take it to the vet?
You would disobey Allah?
If Allah, you say Allah or me? I told you.
Allah, God.
If Allah told me go kill this dog, it's suffering.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, because
well, wait a minute.
It's in the moral,
wait a minute.
In the guide, yes.
So are you? Did you just admit to me there's cases where killing for suffering is good?
According to your random hypothetical that doesn't exist in the Quran, yes.
Well, wait a minute. It's not a random hypothetical. Hasn't Allah commanded the killing of people in the past?
Only, like, for example, let me ask you this: is it
like
immoral
war?
to commit self-defense?
Yeah. Well, even
So
proactively.
if he allows you self-defense, so is it an immorality? I would claim that he never claimed that you just go kill randoms for.
Okay. So you claim that it's never proactive and all that. But if Allah commanded, you admitted to me, if Allah commanded to kill to kill a dog,
100%.
you would do it.
Yes. If it's in the guide, but you haven't proven it's in the guide, and it doesn't exist. Actually, God is a logical being, and he.
So why would you do it if Allah said?
Because to a religious person, like the way I argue to you, and I'm going to give you the secret here. Finally, you as an atheist, I have to give you the definition that morality is linked to the betterment of your society, because you cannot understand it any other way. Me as a religious person, I don't need to link it to the betterment of society. For example, I'll give you an example.
I understand.
I don't need God to tell me, oh, if you stop eating pork, then it will benefit your society, and then you guys won't have diseases. He just has to tell me, do not eat pork. It's filthy. That's it. I don't need the consequence. I don't care.
Right.
He made it. That's like the guide is what makes the moral compass.
Right. So
but the atheists, they don't understand that. I have to link it to something.
And Minari, I got to ask you to slow down a little bit. You're really excited. You're having fun. I get that. But your words per minute are far greater than mine, and it's hard to get a word in edgewise. So let me repeat back to what you're saying, and to show that I'm listening to you and that I understand you. To you, what Allah says, decrees, wills is what makes something good, and anything opposite to it is what makes something bad. So if, for example, if Allah were, he would never ever do this, but if he were to say, kill a suffering dog, you would do it because Allah said it. So that's your
that's my whole argument is objective entity guides.
Right. So, and I get that. And Christians are the same way. Jews are the same way. But for an atheist like me, I actually have to use my head and just not do what I'm told. I got to think, okay, what's the best course of action here? For you, you would just say, what do you want me to do? Open up the Quran, read it. Okay, the Quran says this, so I'll do this without even thinking.
Okay, it would be amazing when you use your head if you come up with better actual outcomes. Turns out you will come up with worse outcomes. For example, you opened your head and now you actually were like, oh, I'm cool with Canada. You know, you used your head to come up with moral conclusion, and now you're like, whoa, Canada's assisted suicide is totally cool. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Can you use your head to come up with a good outcome rather than?
Do you live in Canada?
No, but you're gonna agree. You're gonna disagree. Why is self-assisted suicide in Canada legal, but it's illegal in America if it's so moral? If it's an act of charity.
Well, two different cultures.
Is it possible that secular entities actually don't know what is moral or not without an actual guide guiding them? And if they use each other to guide each other, like secular communities, subjective entities guiding one another, they always fail and they always have to re-scrap their whole moral compass and restart again every generation?
Yeah, I think a lot of morality is trial and error.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As a secular subjective entity, yeah. But look, I'm proving to you that even secular communities do not agree with one another on what is moral. You understand?
Yeah.
If the legal framework of a country is its moral value system or the closest thing to it, how can you claim that Canada and America are being moral when they literally use the different laws and different definitions on like murder?
I understand everything you're saying because I've talked to many Muslims, many Christians in my life. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't think you've heard this argument before. This is a logical argument. I never appealed to.
With the one you gave me that I agreed with?
Yeah, exactly. You like it, don't you?
Yeah, I agreed with it. Humans
That's
ontologically are amoral.
Argument.
So, would you rather live in Canada or Pakistan?
No, I would rather live in the country that
can you answer my question?
Sure. I would never live in Canada.
So
ever. I would rather go live in Pakistan, 100%.
Okay, you would rather live in Pakistan, and Canada's disgusting.
It's like saying you want to go live in France where there's dehydration, nobody can eat. You want to go live in Germany where the 4-day week is now the norm because they don't have enough energy to keep up.
Can I ask what country you live in now?
Yeah, I'm in Kansas. Kansonian.
Would you rather live in America or Pakistan?
So is the argument... okay, I'll tell you why I would rather... If it's America and Pakistan, it was only because of the economical value in America, because it's better than Pakistan. But if it was about the moral values, 100% would rather live in Pakistan. 100%.
Okay.
At least it aligns with me more morally.
And so what's stopping you from going to Pakistan then?
So I'm Syrian. I can't even go back to Syria. It's in the middle of a war. And the whole Middle East has completely been tragic. Like the problem is the Middle East has been completely demolished and it cannot be accessed like it used to. We used to be able to access our own resources. We cannot. It's been... there's
so why is it that the United States... Would you say United States is secular?
Sure, yeah. It's a secular project.
Why is the United States seemingly better to live in, and so many people want to live here from other countries?
Fallacy, by the way.
And why aren't they going into Syria or Pakistan?
This is a fallacy, isn't that?
I'm asking a question. How can it be a fallacy?
No, but it appears to you that it's better. You're right. It's better because there's more economic opportunity. But can you agree with me that America was the reason why a lot of economic opportunity left the Middle East? So is it possible if America never existed, the Middle East would have been so prosperous that I would never, ever even think about living in America in the first place? You know what I mean? Like if America didn't come in and create and fund all Israel to create all the destabilization in the Middle East since 1947.
So are you admitting that America is more prosperous than the Middle East?
100% America is more prosperous than the Middle East.
How can such a secular society that's not based on objective truth and morality be so prosperous?
Because you're stealing the traditional morality's best aspects and acting like that's modern
So
values.
crime does pay.
I'll give you an example. Look at your most successful institution when it comes to social dynamics, which is marriage. Is that a fucking secular institution or is that a religious institution? Go ahead, explain that.
I would say marriage is a secular institution.
How is marriage a secular institution? You know that literally it's created by the church, and you force it to become secular. You understand that?
I can explain my answer if you want.
Well, definitely, it's not a secular institution.
I know you disagree.
Don't get married.
Hey, Manor, here, take my advice. When someone says something that you strongly disagree with, take a breath and just don't worry so much about it. Like, try not to care so much about it, and then you'll find yourself having better conversations. But anyhow, I'll explain it, why I said it's more a secular than religious. And I understand your point of view, the history and so forth. But if my son were to get married tomorrow, he could get married in a church in front of people, or even in a mosque in front of people, and do whatever religious ceremony that it requires. But unless there's a government document that says and signed that they're married, guess what? They're not married. That's why I say it's a secular institution.
Okay.
But the reverse is not true. You can go to a courthouse and get married without any religious stuff, and you're still married. But the opposite's not true.
It's true, but do you agree with me that the religious institutions used to have all control over the power to marry and divorce somebody until we gave them to the states and the government? Do you agree that's what happened?
Yeah, well, for the United States, definitely, yeah.
For the United States. So the church used to actually be the only arbiter of who gets married. You had to go to the church, and I believe either 100 or 75 years earlier, they removed that power from the church and gave it to the government. And since then, the government has been including child support, alimony, all these non-religious institutions that are actually secular. So the thing is, the actual the way you guys got to marriage. The way you guys got to marriage is you used traditional morality. You guys basically used it as a reference point. You were like, wow, this is such a successful institution in the...
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with anything you just said.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying. So the only reason these secular communities are getting to such a high level of advances is because they relied heavily on traditional values and morality to get there. Now, what we see is the second they start disassociating from traditional morality and value, they start immediately failing. You see that in single motherness. You see that in with the drug exasperation, all the mental health issues. You see what's happening?
Yeah, I don't even disagree with you there. I think religion can play a very instrumental part in coalescing families together, giving them a deeper purpose and meaning to stay married, get married, have kids. I do not disagree with you there.
Okay, then let's come to an agreement that humans have to be moral in order for them to better their society. We went on a tangent, but I explained to you why America looks and appears to be so successful. Just be careful, because the second it starts disassociating with traditional values, it could exasperate its fall very quickly, and we actually see the evidence of that happening. We see a lot of Western European nations, literally their economies are totally destroyed because of all the corruption, because they disassociated from traditional morality, allowed interest, allowed inflation to go up. And so their literal economies are crashing because of their corruption. So the whole argument is, you're right. Right now, you're more successful, but this is because that was the policy. And because you guys really relied heavily on traditional value systems, the moment, and we're seeing it, the moment you guys start disassociating from them, your countries are failing. So just be careful. The argument stands right now, but it won't stand too long.
Well, I believe in strong fathers. I actually think the patriarchy is not in itself a bad thing.
Okay.
So I'm raising my kids to value marriage, not to poo-poo it like some feminists do. That having kids is a wonderful thing. It brings hope, meaning, and purpose. So it is possible to be an atheist like myself and teach these morals, these goals to their children to help, have a flourishing society with a positive birth rate.
An atheist?
Yeah.
You like traditional moral values?
Of course. Who doesn't? I mean, I don't. I mean, I do value them, but I don't understand why people push back so hard. Like, you can be an atheist and still value these things.
No problem. Can you be an atheist without an objective entity? It appears, look at what you need to understand, appears to you that you're valuing them until you don't. Then you don't have a way to come back because there is no reference point, because your morality is ever evolving. So you're not coming back in moral value, you're going forwards, which means it's a chaos. It's a chaotic procedure. It takes a lot of assembling and disassembling, and you cannot agree with me that this is a better system than traditional morality, the atheistic moral system.
I think actually for most people, I agree with you. You're right. I think most people do need some type of religious context.
You are one of them. You.
No, I think I'm weird.
Because you're very smart, like so you feel like you know right and wrong immediately. Is that what you're saying?
But what there's a difference between like specific being a hardcore Muslim or hardcore Christian. Most people kind of believe in a higher power and that these morals, do come from this higher power.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's what I'm saying, that I think the majority of people
you agree with me why we believe that? Because if we don't,
you believe it because you were raised that way.
Or not. How can you know if you're being moral? Look, you're following your whims. Look, let me say, me and you were seculars. You think it's okay to go eat McDonald's every day.
No, I don't think that.
Okay, let's do the opposite.
Don't put
you think
words
it's
in my
very
mouth.
bad to eat McDonald's every day.
I just told my son, just literally before I went live streaming, I said, have you had lunch? He said, no, I'm going to McDonald's. I said, you should eat better.
Good. Yeah. Good. So my question is, which one of us is right? Because if we're going to use my whims and desires as the reference point, as the standard, then we're both always right all the time. So one of us has to be right, and it has to be following. Like, the only reason you're right is because I actually can get sick from McDonald's, because the studies showed that I proved that I could get sick from McDonald's. So I shouldn't be getting sick from McDonald's.
You answered your own question. How do we know? So if the question is, how do we know what's right?
That means humans are immoral forever. Exactly. That means until you fail, until you die out, until you get sick, you don't know you're being moral or not. Exactly. Do you understand?
Yeah, you almost have to look at it in hindsight and see what the results. I lean probably 90% consequentialist and maybe 10% virtue.
Therefore, but the problem with consequentialism is you have a disease now. You have technology. Technology destroys consequentialism. You agree with me or no? Because it removes any consequences from any undesirable actions. Promiscuity, no worries, we have condoms. Abortion, no worries, we're gonna. You're getting pregnant, we're gonna give you an abortion.
There's more consequences.
If you're getting enough sex, we'll give you the fashion for it. Like,
there's more consequences than just getting pregnant of why, let's say, for example, you shouldn't have premarital sex, or that there are benefits to, let's say, having fewer sexual partners than more, that go beyond just the physical. I mean, how do I explain this? You're a Muslim, so I'm trying to appeal.
You think it's like a reduction of trauma, maybe? Somewhere you can do that?
Yeah, like, so your identity.
Yeah, you're a consequentialist. You have to link
especially for women,
mm-hmm.
having sex is more of an emotional bond type thing. Men can have sex, without even thinking.
I like the noise. Okay.
So cool. That's what I mean by, it's more than just STDs or getting pregnant.
Yeah, because you're a consequentialist. My question is, let's say there's no more trauma. Do you understand what's happening? Technology is going to remove all trauma, because we're going to have all medicines that will give you an ecstasy feeling the moment you take it. Do you think you're going to be promiscuous and there's STDs? Don't worry, baby. We're going to give you a protection from all STDs. If you have the STDs, you can come take this medication. But
you're not addressing what I said about the emotional
you understand what I'm talking about? The technology removes all negative consequences. Now if there's no negative consequences to promiscuity, is promiscuity bad according to your moral system as a consequentialist?
You didn't address what I said about the emotional part. So are you saying you could pop a pill and then you would have no negative emotions?
Yeah, they pop a pill. Yeah, they get.
Okay.
They did. Yeah, kind of like a weed, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, like so I understand what you're saying now.
Yep, you see it.
What is the problem then with having premarital sex? First of all, you think that's wrong, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, what is wrong with having premarital sex if no one's getting pregnant? No one has any type of emotional distress, no STDs. What's wrong with it then?
It's because it appears to you that it doesn't create any harm, but you are not the arbiter of all the worlds.
Right. It's because all it says it's bad.
You have to keep testing the moral value system until you know. So basically, we're just getting ready for the next failure. So You're right. So now there's no bad consequence. That appears to us to be bad consequences, but that doesn't equate to this is a good act.
Because
so the problem is the atheist can never give you that statement. He cannot say this.
Why
is
premarital sex bad if all the negative consequences are removed?
Yes, 100% still bad. Because
Why?
Only because it's written in the moral guide that you should not be following this.
The Quran.
For a religious person.
Right.
But for the atheist, you're right. For a consequentialist, now it's not bad. You're right. Now you're completely... Now let me ask you a question. What if it was... Well, now, what if 300 years later, it turns out all the sexual activity you guys were involved in were completely bad because you were supposed to come up with a contract before you committed those acts in order to protect the woman, for example? Because you're acting like there's no negative possibilities, but how can there not be negative possibility to promiscuity? It literally is destroying your society. What I'm giving you an example is...
Manar, slow down. I agreed with you. I didn't say that there was no negative effects to promiscuity. I didn't say that.
See, okay, but what you just pointed out is why we should never trust the atheist moral system, because they keep using technology to get rid of the bad consequences, and in the end, they forget that there are more negative consequences coming out. So, okay, you don't have promiscuity. Well, now you're exasperating single motherhood, which is exasperating trauma in childhood, and which is exasperating the prison
Manar,
population. Do you see what's happening? You're an atheist, you're a subjective entity. You continuously have to test out your moral system. You have to use technology to remove the consequences, the negative then rely on technology.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Remove it. But no, you're never going to get to a moral community, ever.
Well, that's fine. The fun is in the pursuit.
So you as an atheist, you're okay with being immoral forever?
No.
But that's the whole point we're getting to. As an atheist, you don't.
What I'm admitting to is that you might not ever be perfect. In fact, that's very reasonable to say that no human is going to be perfect.
You're right, but is it not important to have a standard to follow? What do you feel about?
Sure, and your standard is the Quran. My standard is things like well-being and seeing the consequences of the actions and learning from it.
Well, do you agree with me that if every 10 years the legal framework of a whole country changes, it's creating chaos, it's creating a lot of problems, and it's going to fucking basically end up detrimenting the whole society?
Yeah, that would be bad.
Right? It's very hard for people to adapt to this not ever-changing...
But it seems like if we look at history...
moral compass?
Well, it seems like if we look at history, the Western nations that are more secular seem to be doing at least economically better.
Appears to be, yeah.
Militarily better.
Corruption-wise, they're much worse.
It seems like nations, which we call third world nations, want to come here. They don't want to go to Syria or Pakistan. Why is that? Why do you think these poor children of Allah who live in South America, Middle East, why do they want to go to Western nations where secularism is higher? Why?
All right, I'll play your. Let's leave my question. Yeah, thank you for dabbling with me. Let's go wherever you want to go. So your question is, you want to ask me why is what? Can you repeat it?
Why are people from third world nations? Why do they tend to want to go to places like United States rather than places that accept Sharia law?
Okay, so it's kind of not accurate the way you're representing it. A lot of, for example, traditional moral value populations want to stay next to traditional moral value countries and tend to do that. Actually, a lot of people, for example, from America who are very conservative will leave to like the United Arab Emirates or something like that, which even though it's a completely different religion, it gives them the freedom for them to be conservative in their own religion. So actually, where is this where everyone is leaving their, I think you're misrepresenting.
Does the Emirates follow Sharia law?
No, but they have a strict federal...
right, they don't follow Sharia law. So listen to my question again. Why would a person from, let's say, Venezuela want to go to United States rather than Pakistan that does have Sharia law?
I'll give you a reason. Well, Pakistan doesn't do Sharia, so let's do the closest thing, which is Saudi Arabia. Would you agree there? Can we do Saudi Arabia?
Sure.
Okay. So Saudi Arabia is the closest thing to Sharia law. Why would somebody want to go Saudi Arabia over America? Less crime, more opportunities to.
No. You didn't hear my question. A person from Venezuela wants to go to America, not Saudi Arabia. Question: why?
Because America and the West and the imperialism, colonialism, completely demolished any economic opportunities in the Middle East. There used to be economic opportunities in Syria, Palestine, and
So there's better economic opportunities in the United States versus Saudi Arabia?
Let me explain. So there used to be economic opportunity in Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. They disappeared because of all the wars. Then there was more economic opportunity in the Gulf, like Qatar and United Arab Emirates. They got filled up. They get filled up very quickly, these opportunities. They're very small countries.
Is there more economic... Hey, hang on. You talk way too much. Do you think there's more economic opportunity in the United States or Saudi Arabia?
Yes, in the United States right now.
Okay.
At least for regular populations, United States. But if you're a Saudi Arabian citizen, then of course Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so a person from Venezuela would want to come to the United States for economic opportunity, which provides them more money to raise families, have the white picket fence, to have better education, right?
Sure.
So wouldn't that mean that the United States is better than Saudi Arabia, that has Sharia law, to make money, raise a family, have a white picket fence?
All it would mean is that America has more better economic opportunities, but I wouldn't claim.
Right, but what does that mean?
Overall.
Economic opportunities means you have more money to provide a good home and raise a good family and have good education. Good
is the argument that secular communities create more economic opportunities for people to live in?
Well, you seem like you agreed that they would go to the United States for that reason, yeah, over Saudi Arabia.
But I think it's an oversimplification of what's happening. It's like, for
I'm
example,
a simple guy.
If you destroy my country, my house, and I don't have a house to go to, of course I'm going to go to the neighbor's house to eat. You get
But
me?
nobody's destroyed Saudi Arabia. My point is that we've actually ran the experiment, we've ran the test, and give people the freedom to go where they want to go. And guess what? They'd rather come to the United States than a country with Sharia law. Why is that?
Potentially because of all the propaganda, the West owns all of media. Like, there's so many different explanations I could give you. All of the movies, all of the social media.
Like I'm an atheist, but I see some positive benefits to Sharia law. You want to? Here's one.
Sure.
I think we need some Sharia law when it comes to thieves in the United States.
In what?
Thieves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. They got their harm.
I wouldn't mind if Trump gave just a little bit of Sharia law over to, if someone steals something from a store, that they go on national TV and we televise them getting their finger chopped off. I'm okay with that.
Well, PineCreek, my question is, why are you okay with a politician coming, acting like, oh, there's a majority of people, so now I got to change the law and the moral system of this whole country to something that's brand new, that never ever existed before? Like, why are you actually supportive of a politician using the argument of, oh, this majority
What's brand new?
this law in? Huh?
What's brand new?
Like, for example, the LGBTQ argument. It's a random politician acting like, oh, they became a majority, so now we're going to change the legal system in order to accommodate for them, right? So my question is, as an atheist, why are you okay with that?
I'm not okay with that.
How do you reconcile that a single politician can change your whole moral value system?
Because that's what's called a democracy. That's when people can vote, and then if they know what they're getting when they vote, that's how democracy works. But I'm not okay with that. But
You're not okay with that.
I'm not okay with, let's say, males playing in female sports. I'm not okay with teaching kids in kindergarten or even up to grade 8, oh, you can be non-binary. No, I think that's all destructive and terrible for raising a productive society.
Okay. Can you stop it? Is there any reference point you can use?
Yeah, I did.
To stop it?
I voted for Trump.
Okay, so
And Trump said,
so you are,
I don't know if Trump's going to do it, but he said that he's, like with the males in female sports, he said, I'm not going to allow it. So he's probably going to do something with Title IX, and he's probably going to withhold federal funding for any federally funded school or organization that that allows men to compete against women. He said, no, the money's cut off then. And I think he can also do it through rhetoric. But I'm doing my part. I voted for Trump.
Okay, so the only way for you to change the moral value system of your country to something close to what you want is through the vote, through the politicians.
Well, that's not the only way. I can also have a YouTube channel like you do, and I can try to appear fun and likable and give my arguments, and then people say, "Hey, I like that guy. You know, he makes some sense there. Maybe I should." And then slowly I can change people's minds, and I have done that. There are Democrats who were former Democrats who are now Republican because of me.
Okay, so you actually don't care about solving the dilemma. You don't care about humans being amoral forever. You just believe.
No, I do care.
Forever is too much of a loaded word.
Manar, you have this bad habit of putting words in my mouth. I do care.
Well, I'm trying to come to I'm trying to get you to answer the original question.
You're trying to get me to become a Muslim. That's what you're trying to do.
I mean, sure, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Just be honest and admit
it.
You'd
be a great Muslim. You're almost there. I mean, you voted Trump now.
Yeah, I believe in no gods except one. Right? That's what you want me to say. There's no God except for Allah.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're halfway there.
I'm almost there.
Get to the second part. Yeah, exactly.
Even the Christians, they believe in Yahweh and Jesus and Holy Spirit.
I know, but you see that there's something that they got right. You agree? You have to agree.
Oh, I admit, I think the Judeo-Christian and even Islam got a lot of things right. Like, for example, the traditional marriage, the Jews, they kind of had a lot of, even Muslims, they believe up to 3 wives or 4 wives or something like that. I think one man, one woman in a marriage seems to work best. Can I get an amen from husbands out there? Like, I can't imagine having more than one wife and having to deal with...
that's crazy, because your secular community is promoting promiscuity. It's promoting the value of just...
And I disagree with them.
Okay, but you keep saying that, but then you actually advocate for atheism. You say you disagree.
Yeah, but you're assuming...
you advocate for that moral system.
But Manar, you're assuming just because I'm an atheist means that I'm somehow in that camp of promiscuity. No, I teach my kids, no, it's best not to be promiscuous and have multiple sexual partners.
You agree with me? The secular community's best actual parts could be because of their inheritance of the traditional value system that they had?
From religion, yeah.
From religion, exactly.
Yeah.
They inherited some kind of values, and as long as they follow it, it seems like they're very successful.
That's why I'm a conservative, because I think just because something's old doesn't mean it's wrong.
Okay, yeah. A lot of them, they actually commit that fallacy where modernity is equal better.
Yeah, I call those woke progressives. They think just because it's new, then therefore it's better. But just because something's new doesn't guarantee it's better. I mean, sometimes it's best to go back.
Understand, you're not going to be able to debate them very quickly. You're a consequentialist just like them. They're going to bring you the exact same arguments that I brought you.
Well, I can debate them fairly easily.
Promiscuity is a good thing for our society because there is no negative effects.
Actually, I actually think you'd be hard-pressed to find a secular humanist who would actually just come out and say promiscuity is great for the society.
Bro, literally every LGBTQ person I talk to does that. Literally.
Yeah, but they're even a small percentage of the population. And I got a pretty strong gay following here. Like, gay men love me for some reason, because I'm so incredibly handsome. And they even admit to me, like, I'll come out and say I don't think lesbians should adopt, and I actually don't even think gay guys should adopt.
Okay. So let's just, do you want to talk about Biden?
Actually, you know what? Maybe we should give someone else a chance. We've been talking for a while.
Thank you, PineCreek. I really appreciate you. I hope you understand my position here is that humans are always amoral forever. You, as a consequentialist, you should be very weary of technology because it's coming. It's going to change your consequences. And you actually, at some point, you're never going to be able to argue against promiscuity. At least me, as a religious person, I will always, no matter what the consequences is, I will always tell you fucking your own mother is wrong. No matter what, I'm telling you, no matter what you bring forward, no matter what changes in the world, I don't even care about the consequences. This is why our moral compass is superior. We actually use a real reference, a real standard point of somewhere where it was successful before, whereas you guys don't have that.
Effing your mother is always wrong, except if Allah commands it. Okay, we'll leave it there.
One last thing. Can you help me against the debate? If I debate Destiny or Andrew Wilson, what should I do?
You're asking me if you had a debate.
Yeah, should I calm down? Should I speak faster? Should I?
No, yeah, you got to be, if you want to be successful, you got to be more like me.
You're very calm, but you're way too derailing. Like, you derail.
Well, no, it feels like derailing. Like, I'm being honest with you here. It feels like derailing to you because your mind is, you have a very sharp mind. You're a fast thinker and a fast talker. And so you know where you want to go. And so as soon as I ask a question that's on topic, but it's not quite where you want to go, you view it as derailing. So here's my advice to you. If you want to become an expert debater, don't give a shit.
Okay.
Just don't care so much. And then you'll actually think way more clearly.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. I really do care a lot. You're right. You even noticed that. You felt it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, PineCreek. Hey, can I stop by another time, please? Next
yeah,
time maybe
sure. I don't know when the next time will be, but yeah.
I'll find you. Don't worry. I'll find you. I got a couple of guys there.
And hi to all your viewers watching right now.
Nick loves you, man. Nick loves you.
Well, what's not to love? I mean.
I know. I get it. You're a pretty smart guy. All right, PineCreek. Hey, good luck to everybody against him. Peace.
See ya. I got another Muslim who wants on. I don't know if I can handle two Muslims at the same, back to back. Okay, Elias, I like calling you Elias. I'll let you in, but let's keep it short, okay? You're on. You're going to tear me apart like a little chicken head. Right, Elias?
I'm in?
You're in.
Am I audible?
Two Muslims in a row.
Do you really, man, how can you even make such arguments? Like, do you really believe that USA is like the best country in the world? Do you really believe that?
One of the best, yeah.
One of the best. Okay, when you say one of the best, you mean like top 10, top 20, top 100? Like, what is one of the best?
Top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
You need professional help. You need professional help. Really? Top 3?
Maybe I do need professional help. Are you a professional?
You do need professional help. America, the country that was founded on dead Native American bones after it savagely invaded and stole Native American lands and exterminated its entire
They deserved it for not having guns.
In the most inhumane and cowardly and brutal way possible. I can understand like just fighting someone and killing him.
The Native Americans were fighting each other and killing each other. We just,
so what?
We stopped it.
So if you fight your son, right? Does it give me right to go and kill you and your son? If you like in a fight, in a domestic fight with your son?
Yeah, no, don't kill my son.
If you are fighting your son, is this an excuse? Like, well, PineCreek and his son, they are fighting. So why is it not okay for me to come to his house and kill all his family members?
Is it okay for Putin to invade Ukraine?
But that's not the point. America is the worst country. America is the worst country in history of human race. The worst country. Wallahi, name me one country that is worse than USA. I will commit suicide on freaking camera right now. One country. Name me one country that was worse than USA. One. I will give you all my money, all my
North Korea?
Slaves.
North Korea?
What? No, North Korea never massacred Native Americans. What bad things did North Korea do? Did it enslave black people? Huh? Did North America...
Germany? World War II?
Germany is quite bad, not that bad. Not that bad, because they were contained. They were contained by Russians. We didn't let them spread.
They almost took over the world.
What?
They almost took over the world.
Yeah, but we stopped them. But America, because America doesn't border Russia.
Pol Pot?
Stop you.
Stalin?
It's not as bad. Not as bad, because there are levels to being evil. We are not as evil as you are.
Okay,
we're not as evil.
Let's put it this way. Would you agree with this? United States is the top 3 best at being evil.
At genocide, yes.
Okay.
Top 3 genocide country in the world.
There we go. We come to an agreement. Yeah.
Is this what you wanted to say?
Sure. Like, I'd rather be on the side that's winning.
Winning. Oh my God. You'd rather be a thief, right? You'd rather be a thief than the one who is a victim of
The state of Arizona could take Russia out.
No, and let's go like to another point.
He's Russian, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Elias is Russian. But you don't live in Russia, do you?
I do live in Moscow. Man, I left
you're in
Russia
Moscow.
Oh,
you should be careful, man.
Careful what? For what?
Well, I might convince the state of Arizona to make a visit to Moscow.
Don't know. Edward Snowden is here probably like freaking 100 meters from where I am. Your state of Arizona didn't get him still. And Tucker Carlson said that he is promised electric chair in USA. Such a great secular country, so much freedom in USA, right? That you want to burn your own a white boy, right? For doing what exactly? For doing what?
Which white boy are we burning?
Edward Snowden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, promised electric chair, by the way. Electric chair. And these idiots in the comments section.
I think Biden will pardon him.
Yeah, sure, right, he will.
He pardoned his son, and Snowden's like a son to him.
But it doesn't matter. Let's go back. Let's go back to like how can you be so brainwashed to believe that living in America is actually a good thing?
Well, you just answered your own question. I'm brainwashed.
You are brainwashed.
Yeah.
When you Google, have you ever Googled countries by crime rates? Have you ever did this?
Yeah. Saudi Arabia is actually.
USA? Can you show me where's USA in that graphic?
They're towards the middle bottom. They're not the worst.
Bottom, yes, there are 200 countries in the world. USA is 150, 140.
Yeah, that's
somewhere there.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And Muslim countries aware, those Sharia countries that you're saying, huh? That they're aware.
Well, they're not at the top. I actually think they're.
They are at the top.
What's number one?
Oh, I think it's Qatar or Amman. It's either Qatar or Amman.
Okay.
Crime rates by country. Amazing, right? Like amazing.
Well, I admitted to the previous caller that that's one thing about Sharia law I like.
What is there to dislike?
Exactly.
Is there something to dislike?
I don't like thieves.
You say one thing about Sharia to dislike. Is there something to dislike about it? Like, is there like a thing that it does wrong, that it gets wrong? Is there something that USA does that we Muslims do worse? Except genocide.
Yeah, like freedom, freedom of religion.
So can what's their name again? Not Mennonites, the Mormons. Can they have two wives in USA? Huh? Freedom of religion. Can they have two wives in USA?
I don't think so anymore. I think they used to.
No, they can't. They can't have two wives. And you're telling about freedom. You don't even give freedom to your own white people, Mormons.
So you're saying to have true freedom, we should be able to have more than one wife, us men?
No. You said that in USA you have more freedom. Is this your argument? You have more freedom?
No, I said freedom of religion. I said.
Okay, freedom of religion. Sharia gives more freedom of religion. First of all, Mormons can have as many wives as they want under Sharia, and Jews can practice all their Old Testament laws. For example, if Jewish community under Sharia wants to create a court and judge Jews by the Jewish laws, and in Jewish laws, like Old Testament laws.
So I'd be okay as an atheist living in Qatar?
Of course.
I could wear a shirt saying "proud atheist" and I'd be okay.
No. You cannot break the law. You cannot spread corruption. But if you just live low key, so we don't see you doing some.
Oh, so I wouldn't have the freedom to wear a shirt saying I'm a proud atheist.
Of course not. Do I have the right to live in USA and wear a shirt "Death to America"? Huh?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Does Edward Snowden have the right to do journalism in USA? Why is he promised electric chair there? Where's freedom? Again, this is a hypocritical argument. With all countries, they have things that they punish for and that they allow for. Like, this is a stupid copium type of argument. Like, oh, we have freedom. What freedom you have? You don't have freedom. All Russian channels banned, right? If you say something wrong against the Jews, you are banned, right? Your politicians, they stand there on their Senate. And
Russia does the same thing.
Yes, Russia does the same thing, but Russia doesn't claim to have freedom. We're not hypocrites. When you come to Russia, nobody's going to tell you.
It's the hypocrisy that bothers you.
Yes, hypocrisy. I have no problem. For example, North Korea, right? North Korea has zero religion there. It's completely atheist, not a single church, not a single mosque. And they will tell you straight up. Like,
you know who Bill Cosby is?
What?
You know who Bill Cosby is? That actor, the black guy who got caught for drugging women and then raping them.
Yes.
A lot of people thought what was so terrible about him was the hypocrisy, but I think it was the raping.
It's both. Like it's both. It's both. Why you should choose? Like this is bad. Both is bad. Hypocrisy is bad. Raping bad. Right? But that's the problem with you Americans. Right? You're just hypocrites. You preach.
What you gonna do about it?
Huh?
What you gonna do about it?
We're gonna nuke you eventually, right? Like it's a done deal. It's a done deal, right? Putin gonna press some buttons and then it's beyond.
No. Putin and Trump are friends, I heard.
Forget about this. Like, I'm really sick of this hypocrisy. Why you just sit here like
you're gonna nuke us for hypocrisy?
Like, all the facts are against you, PineCreek. No. Tell me, genuinely, just answer genuinely. Where would you rather live? Like, look, you have two options, right?
Okay.
You can be born in Saudi Arabia or you can be born in USA, any place in USA. Do you really gonna pick USA here?
Yes.
Why? This is
because I'm proud to be an American. Because at least
people,
I know I'm free.
White people. Because of white people, right? Because they have skin color that you like, right?
Did you just call me a racist? There's more cultural diversity and skin color diversity in the United States than there is in Saudi Arabia.
This is debatable, but even if I give you that, didn't you say on the last stream that you're a good racist? Huh? Didn't you say that?
I'm the best, yeah.
But you did say that you're a racist.
I'm a good racist, yeah.
Okay, so why are you accusing me if I said that you're racist? So you said you're racist, I also say that you're racist.
I just wanted to hear, I didn't want the hypocrisy. I wanted you to admit it.
Yeah, I called you racist. Yes, you are racist. And you yourself admitted that you're racist, right?
But a good one. A good one. I'm a good one.
But you want to live in USA because there are people of your culture there, right? Because they look like you, right? They eat like you. They do the same rituals.
You know who you're talking to? I married a black woman. You do understand that.
This black woman is probably very white cultured woman. She acts white, probably, right?
But don't tell me she looks like me, because she doesn't. Right? My own children don't look like me.
But they act like you, right? They act white, right? They have white.
They act white. How does one act white?
Western culture, the same way the Western culture is, right?
Okay, so does that mean African Americans act white?
Oh, it depends on the African Americans.
Oh, it depends.
Some do. Like Obama, for example, he's super white. Like I look at Obama, and this is a white guy.
Yeah, Obama was our first white president. I mean, first half white president. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's culturally white. He acts cultural, and this is why you.
Yeah, he's very articulate and clean.
Right. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. But again, go back to my point, right? You want to live in USA because why? Well, what's the reason for that?
I told you, because of freedom. Plus, I like Utah. Have you ever been to Kanab? Kanab, Utah is beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world.
There are plenty of beautiful places in North Korea, right? Like geography. Don't give me geography. No. Just tell the truth, PineCreek. Like, why are you like hiding this? Just tell me that you want to live in USA.
Yeah, freedom, economic security. I mean,
there is no freedom. There is no economic security in USA.
I mean, the biggest democracy and GDP in the world.
It's not a democracy. It's not the biggest GDP.
Democratic Republic. Excuse me. You're right. Democratic Republic.
It's not even a democratic republic in USA. The guy who gets less votes somehow he wins elections. This is amazing democracy.
Well, not this election. Trump got the most votes.
Okay, not this election, but some elections, the guy gets less votes, he wins election, and you call this democracy. Again, we're going back to hypocrisy.
Democratic Republic.
Okay, yeah. Do you admit that you're a hypocrite?
Well, sometimes I am. Yeah, well, I'm human. I make mistakes.
But when making this statement,
but I don't think I should be nuked for being a hypocrite.
No, you shouldn't be nuked. USA should be nuked. Like it's not.
But I live in the United States. You're threatening to kill me for being a hypocrite.
Just migrate to a better country. It's a Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, I like America. Just like most people from third world countries, if they had a choice between going to the United States or going to Saudi Arabia, they choose America because we're better.
Yeah, because it's easier to go to America. Saudi Arabia has the most brutal immigration laws.
There's people from Europe who actually come to the United States during the Biden administration. They could have gone to Saudi Arabia, but they didn't.
Because USA has trash immigration laws. It's so easy to get an American citizenship.
That's true. I agree with you there. But that's going to change.
There is only one Russian guy who got the citizenship of UAE. And this guy is Pavel Durov. And do you know how he got this? He got this by investing freaking billions into Emirati economy. This is how he get it.
Yeah.
Like this is how hard it is to get citizenship of actual Muslim Sharia countries.
You know what I think, Elias? I think you're just so jealous and you deeply want to live here.
Jealous of what?
You want to live here.
Your crime rates, one of the worst. You have no traditional values. Your people are racist, evil, toxic. Your channel is dedicated at criticizing USA. Don't you realize the hypocrisy? Your channel is dedicated
to me, that's a wonderful thing that I can openly criticize my own government. I think that's beautiful.
You're not criticizing the government. You're criticizing the half of your population at least.
Yeah.
Because your channel. Your channel is dedicated at bashing who? At bashing the left-wingers in your country. Right?
Yeah,
so at least
I think that's beautiful. Don't you?
It doesn't matter, but it reinforces my point. Don't you see that it reinforces my point that you hate your own country, basically? You hate America. You hate America.
I don't hate them.
The difference between us and between me and you is that you hate half of America. I hate all of it. I hate the Democrats.
Can you criticize Putin in Moscow?
Probably not, but it doesn't matter. But we don't want to. We don't want to, right? First of all,
you don't want to? You tell me you agree with everything Putin says?
I'm a Muslim, okay? I'm not
right. So wouldn't you want the opportunity to criticize Putin and lead him to Allah?
Gotcha. PineCreek, listen. Should surgeons be? Should we allow people to criticize surgeons? Should just random people on the street have the right to say to surgeon, "Hey, surgeon, you're cutting wrong"? Like what you are saying.
Yeah, I think they should have that right.
So people on the streets should decide how surgical operations should go.
No, didn't say that, but I said they should have the right to criticize.
Are you for real?
Yeah. What's wrong with criticism? Don't tell me it hurts your feelings.
What benefit does it serve for Josh Moore on the street to go to a freaking
because that guy on the street might actually be right.
This is why America should be nuked. Like people like you, right? Like we just cannot let people like Americans to just exist. You are mentally challenged people. You are mentally challenged. No, professionals should do their job. And
well, if mentally challenged is wrong, I don't want to be right.
You basically never right. You never right, and you're a hypocrite. What you're saying is absolute hypocrisy, right? And it's also racist.
I think raping is much worse than being a hypocrite.
It is. It probably is. Right? But one leads to another. You live in the.
You know the difference between you and me, Elias. You know the difference between us.
I already told you. I hate all of America. You hate like half of it. Like,
no, the main difference between you and me is you come on here, and I'm not sure if you're acting. Are you acting?
No, I'm not acting.
Yeah, you're being sincere, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you disagree with anything I said?
Sure. Yeah. Of course. But
what do you disagree with?
But my main point I was saying here, you care so deeply that you're almost out of control. No, I take it back. You're not almost out of control. You are out of control. Whereas I'm more laid back, and I mean, you can hurl any insult you want towards me, and guess what? It doesn't make a dent. I never insulted you. You didn't insult me?
It's not about it. We're not talking, but why are you?
You just said I should be nuked.
I said USA should be nuked.
Right, and I'm an American.
Leave the country then. Don't stand where our bombs drop. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Don't stand in a place where our bombs drop.
Yeah, and I should flee to Qatar.
Well, it's much better country than USA, and we both agree. No, tell me. Let me tell you something.
Elias, I got someone else who wants on.
Wait a minute. Let me tell you one thing.
Okay, tell me one thing.
What makes a country great? I'll tell you, and you will agree with me.
Number one. Okay, go ahead.
The three reasons what makes a country great. 3 reasons. First, security, right? Meaning that when you go outside, you shouldn't get mugged or your life shouldn't be in danger, right? This is number 1. Number 2, decent quality of life. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all the essentials should be available to you: electricity, water, food, yada yada yada, right? 2. Number 3, traditional lifestyle. Okay, so no degeneracy in the world, in the country, no freaking Rihanna, no 50 Cent, no Snoop Dogg, no narcotics, or freaking other trash, Hollywood, right? traditional way of life. So security, quality of life, traditional way of life. If
And
you check
I don't disagree with you.
You don't disagree?
No.
Okay, beautiful. So Muslim countries have all three. Muslim countries of the
But
Gulf,
what
such as
I don't disagree with you that those are important things. Now, I do think you're missing one of the important elements, and that's freedom. Freedom to criticize, freedom to
Why is it
express your
important?
ideas,
Explain.
freedom to wear a shirt that says "Death to America," or freedom
Why do we
to
need
wear a
this?
shirt
Why
that
do we
says
need
"Proud Atheist." But anyhow, I got another caller who wants on, and we've been talking a while, and I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Think about this. Freedom is absolutely useless because it's inefficient.
I just proved his point. Freedom is he had no freedom to stay. Yimby for Christ. Hi, Yimby. I'm having fun. I've had 2 Muslims in a row. Now I get a Christian. Isn't America great? I could talk to 2 Muslims and now a Christian. Right? You're a Christian?
I am.
You are. Have we talked before?
We have. But I do hold a bit of a different position now. I think the last time we spoke, I was a KJV only fundamentalist.
Okay.
And I've since left my church. And I'm kind of in between churches right now. I'm looking for something more liturgical. But the big thing that spurred this change is I actually now believe in universalism. So I don't believe in an eternal hell.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. But you feel good about this decision to go Orthodox?
How do you know I'm going Orthodox?
Where else would you go?
Well, I might go Anglican.
Well, that's close enough.
Right. So, yeah, I feel like you should really look into the liturgical stuff because
Why?
I feel like you're more... Well, because the Mennonite stuff is kind of the opposite of that.
Well, I'm not a Mennonite religiously. I'd say just culturally, like the foods I eat and that sort of thing. But no, I have no need for religion.
Well, have you ever lived a sacramental lifestyle? Have you?
Is it sort of like the gay lifestyle? Do I need a whole new wardrobe and chains around my neck? I mean,
my God.
What's the sacramental lifestyle?
I mean, I don't know, Doug. I don't know.
No, but seriously, where'd he go? He left. Come back. Why do I need religion? Why do I need orthodoxy? Why do I need Christianity? Why do I need Islam? I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't steal that much. That's an old joke. I don't rape. I don't pillage. Like, what's the worst I've done? According to the left, the worst I've done is vote for Trump. Yimby, come back. I want you to tell me why I need religion. Here it comes. You got a notification, right? As soon as you get a notification, you get knocked off, I bet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question you asked me was, why do you need religion?
Yeah.
Well, because there's no avoiding it, ultimately, in my opinion. And you're going to end up spending some sort of time in hell or purgatory, so you should try to minimize that as much
I thought you
as
just said
possible.
you don't believe in eternal hell anymore.
No, yeah, I don't believe in eternal hell, but it's
Okay, I can
purification.
take hell for a few hours, a few days.
Well, I don't know how long it's going to be, PineCreek. That's the thing. So we should try to shorten that while you're on Earth.
So your main reason why I should become a Christian is to avoid some pain in the afterlife?
It's not even necessarily going to be painful, I don't think, but just so you're better prepared for the presence of God.
So I'm better prepared. I'd rather just wait and see.
That's fair enough. I mean, a lot of people feel that way, but you're going to spend this lifetime having a lot of questions, right? You can't answer why we're here. You can't answer the meaning of life.
Oh, okay. Why does God exist?
Well, God's eternal. He must exist.
The cosmos is eternal. It must exist. There, I just answered the question, the big question of life, just like you did.
Well, perhaps God is the cosmos.
Oh, okay. If you're defining God as a random, material, non-intelligent mind, sure, okay.
Well, isn't the cosmos infinite? And only God can be infinite.
Only the cosmos can be infinite.
Okay, you're just playing word games at this point.
No, I'm making a rhetorical point, but it's a good one. That any answer you can give, like you said, you can't avoid religion because it doesn't. You need to answer the big questions of life, like why do we exist? And I just simply asked, well, why does God exist? And your answer was because he has to. It's a necessity. He necessarily has to. And I can just say the same thing about the cosmos.
Right, and ultimately, since I'm a universalist, I mean, you're not going to suffer in hell for that for eternity. So
Yeah, if universalism's true, I don't see the urgency to become a Christian, especially if you're a good person like me, and I'm the best. I mean,
right.
I mean,
Well,
even when it comes to being a racist, I'm the best.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a good racist. There we go.
So let me ask you this, Doug. Do you think masturbation is moral?
I think it's amoral.
Interesting.
Like, do you ever get an itch on your back or on your arm?
Yes.
Okay, so if you get an itch on your arm and then you scratch it, is that moral or immoral or amoral?
I would say that's moral.
It's moral to itch yourself?
Yeah, because you have a problem and you're fixing that problem.
I see, but I don't know if I'd go so far as to say masturbation's moral. I would say it's amoral.
Wouldn't it be immoral?
It's like breathing. Like, did I just do a moral or amoral
So,
thing?
well, here's the thing though, because you're willing to scratch your elbow in public, but you're not willing to masturbate in public. So there's something inherently without dignity.
I've been told that if you're good at something, never do it for free.
All right. Well, come on, Doug. You have to admit. No. Where does this come from, though? Where does this come from?
What, my humor? Being Canadian.
No. Evolutionarily, where does this shame come from that many people feel when they do something like masturbation?
I think it's cultural. Like if you go to some tribes in Africa today, they walk around naked. If you go to Qatar, I'm sure they masturbate too on the streets. Oh, I just angered Elias. Oh, and he got another notification. Oh, I'm having so much fun. Threw in a Joker Batman quote. Yeah, you're right, James Cool Kid. Just as the Joker thing came up, I said it. But now you're going to hear it 7 seconds later. I think masturbation can become wrong and immoral if it controls your life. Like there's a woman on the street and she fell and she's bleeding and she needs help, and you say, wait a minute, I got to masturbate first. I mean, that's sick. No, go help the lady. Right? That's just common sense. It's become R-rated, this live stream. Okay, I'll take one more call if there's one. If not, I'm okay with ending this live stream. I've had too much fun today. Thoughts on hobbies, aren't they immoral? No, hobbies are not immoral. See, this is a hobby. I'm doing it right now. So for me to say that it's immoral, then I would have to say this whole live stream is immoral. But really, calling something immoral or moral, who cares? The real question is real harm being done? So that's the question as a consequentialist you ask with everything. That's why I love asking the question, why is racism bad? And this freaks the left out. When they hear that question, they freak out. They go like, what do you mean? Well, articulate it. Why is racism bad? Because it hurts people. So if it doesn't hurt people, is it still racism? Well, yeah. Because you can make racist comments, but if someone makes a racist comment and no one's there to hear it, have you done anything wrong? Yeah, you did something wrong to yourself just for having that thought. But was anybody harmed? No, well, you're harming yourself by having those bad thoughts. How have they been harmed? You're thinking less of people. Okay, why is thinking less of people bad? Because it hurts their feelings. Ah, that's the real point. Hurting the feelings. Mr. Winfield.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, very good.
You are on the East Coast.
Yes, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Excellent.
New Jersey. Uh-huh.
Was there
So I'd like to talk about finances, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm sure we're going to bore the ladies, but we can talk about finance.
Well, yeah, let's talk about finances. So you seem very savvy when it comes to investing, and you're very conservative with your money, and I like that. I'm younger than you. I'm 45. My house is paid off. I have 5 children, 4 boys and a girl, and they're my oldest is 19. So we have some money put aside for college, but I think most of them aren't going to college. They're going to go into trades.
Good.
So what would you do with your money?
With my money, or are you asking for advice with your money?
Yeah, with my money. If you were in my situation, yeah, what would you do with your money?
Well, you've already paid off your house, so that's good. I would buy, I think you're still young enough to just put your money in index funds, maybe 80% index funds, 20% bonds, as long as interest rates stay above the inflation rate.
Yeah, so like right now I took some money and I put it in like high yield savings.
Yep.
And they're very close to 5%. Is that foolish? Like, should I be in something more aggressive?
No, that's not foolish, especially if you did it before the election. And even post-election, there's still a lot of unknowns, like what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy might do with the fiscal budget. Might cause actually a jump in inflation and a jump in unemployment at the same time. There's still a lot of uncertainty with this election going on. So, but if you're 45-ish and you're going to not touch it for 20 years, I don't think you can go wrong with index funds. Maybe, or some type of ETF that's high on dividend payouts, like 2-3%.
Okay. Anything with real estate? Do you recommend that at all?
Yeah, I think real estate's great. But since you already have your house paid off, you're really asking me, should you buy a second home or a fourplex or something like that?
Yeah. Second home, investment property, like a rental property.
I know from experience, rental properties are a real pain in the butt. So if you're going to do that, you're going to have to. My advice would be hire a management company to take care of it. But then you're basically, then you're basically hoping that for the real estate appreciation and not so much cash flow, because the management company is going to take a lot of that.
I know. Yeah, I'm an electrician. I just left someone's house, and I had to do electrical work there because it's a rental and they're having problems. Yeah.
Instead of buying real estate, since you told me you're an electrician, try to expand your business. Like focus your money after you've done an allocation for index funds and bonds. Do what you're best at, and that is being an electrician. And maybe look for electricians that are getting older and want to retire and take over their business, and just expand.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you don't want to do that?
No. I mean, like I am doing that. Like I do work as an electrician, 40 hours a week, and then I probably do close to another, 16 hours of my own stuff, and it's great. Like, my boys are into it. We have a lot of fun doing it together too. And, it's just, I don't know, like, it just seemed like it would be fun to like, but the whole thing is of taking care of a house doesn't sound like fun either, though.
Yeah. May I ask what's your annual sales on your business?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even own my own business. I work for someone, but I do pretty good. Like this year, it's probably like maybe like 150, 160.
Okay,
So it's pretty good.
Here's what you do. How old's your boss?
Oh, he wants to get out. He's about 70.
Yeah, take over your boss's business and expand it. Like go
grow the heck out of it.
Go aggressive. You're going to make a higher, trust me, you're going to make a higher return by taking something you're good at and expanding it than you will putting it in the stock market or an index fund. I know.
Yeah. All right.
I've valued many electrical businesses, trade businesses in general. And I mean, they do very well once they start expanding. And resist the urge to sell it to a big.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity.
Resist the urge to sell it to a hedge fund or some big corporation, because people really value a family business, even if it's big. You can make a lot of money. Anyhow, I'll let you go, James.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking my call. Bye, PineCreek.
See ya. I'll let Daniel in quickly. Hey, Daniel.
Oh, hey, sorry.
That's all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, man, just want to say something that'll make you happy.
What's that? What will make me happy? And I lost you.
No, you didn't lose me.
Oh, you're still there. You're thinking about what will make me happy?
I'm going to say it.
Should I get the mute button ready?
No.
Okay. Oh, you're thinking about what to say, but you don't have it prepared. Well, let me ask you something.
No, I don't think anything will make you happy.
You don't think anything will make me happy?
I don't think anything I can say will make you happy.
What makes you think I'm unhappy?
You're dead inside.
But I'm smiling a lot.
You can be unhappy and smile.
Okay. You think my life? Do you think my life lacks meaning, hope, and purpose?
Well, actually, no. I think that you get your hope, meaning, and purpose from your family.
Yes, you're correct. So why?
And actually, that touches on why I called in, which is like, what would you say is an alternative for hope, meaning, and purpose when you don't have family to fall back on if you don't have like religion?
Good
and
question.
And then the other thing that I was thinking about was, a lot of talks on morality today, and like, how do you approach morality, especially in the context of like, a lot of morality things are based on guidelines, I guess. And so like one guideline would be, don't do this thing because it'll lead to other things, which is like the atheist will jump in and say, oh, it's a slippery slope argument. And,
who cares what atheists say? To answer your first question, hope, meaning, and purpose other than family, I would say different charities, volunteer work, where you're helping people. I think that makes people feel good.
I guess that's a good answer.
And then with morality, you're basically asking for a foundation for it?
I actually, touching on the foundation thing, which is interesting about what you get with things like, orthodoxy and, the Muslim religion, for example, you have a lot of like structure. You can say like it's based on this thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of arguing, arguing the clarity of that point across.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with us, it's like, well, we don't really just kind of figure it out. It's sort of principle of harm. But then, in my country, we decided like, hey, let's let everybody do anything that they want as long as it doesn't harm anybody else.
What country is that?
Well, Canada.
Ah.
Yeah, big fat traitor.
Yeah. What'd you think of Trudeau bending the knee to Trump the other day?
I mean, it's a really weird feeling because you're like part happy and part not happy. You're part like, come on, stand up or whatever, be a man. But then the other side of it's like, it's really cool to see. I don't know. It's definitely the Trump. The Trump election has been an interesting reality TV show for us up here.
Yeah. Well, okay,
the most interesting.
You're an atheist living in Canada.
Yeah. So like in Canada, like one of the ideas, which I think is an atheistic principle, or at least a secular one, is like, as long as the thing you want to do doesn't cause harm to other people, go for it. But then you have your cities are filled with, fentanyl and people are sleeping everywhere. So part of a lot of what I see.
Yeah, but then you're doing harm. So you can say, hey, maybe we shouldn't have fentanyl on our streets.
But at the core of it, there's not harm being caused anybody. You're just saying you're allowed to do this thing. It's like the analogy of like, I'm waving my fist as long as it doesn't hit you, it's fine.
Well,
and the other thing is, I actually agree with this, and that's why I need you to push back.
Yeah,
I need help here.
I was a little more libertarian in my younger days, but as I get older, I can see that yes, people can have the freedom to kill themselves, but
yeah, like that kind of stuff.
But as I get older, if in a world, let's say, where fentanyl didn't exist, would they be trying to kill themselves in this way? Probably not. So does the society work better if we have less people on the streets who are anemic and impoverished and malnourished? Yeah, society would be better if that didn't exist. So then why not take steps to prevent that? And that's where laws come into play.
In order to do that, though, you'd have to do something that goes against your moral principle.
Well, it's a balance between freedom and, I guess, regulation and laws. Like, I'm not a libertarian where you're free to do anything you want.
I think that's my background. I probably come from a libertarian-leaning background.
Yeah.
Where I feel like as long as what you're doing doesn't cause harm to other people, you should be allowed to do it. Which is why. But so it's like it'd be like saying, I think an extreme example would be like saying it's okay to drink and drive as long as you don't hit anybody when you do it. But we make laws against even being able to start doing that because of the potential outcome. You're saying fentanyl should be illegal, which against the moral principle of like not causing harm. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it seems like there's no way to come to any conclusion, and it is up in the air. It is.
Well, no,
like your stance would be. Stance must be that it's a chaotic tornado, whereas a lot of like I feel like if you have this binding ethic written down on a piece of paper, it's 2,000 years old. It's like, oh, okay, well, it says it here, so this is why it's this. These have a reason for it, whereas ours is like chaotic and tornado-ish, and sort of like the best ideas just have to argue it out or guess and test, which is like a lot of like I think in our country they just were like, let's try it, see if it works, and see what happens. Now they're trying to roll it back, I think.
Daniel, religious people have the same problem as any other person or non-religious person, and that is just because you have a holy book that says X, Y, and Z, then they still argue about what it actually means, how you apply it, all that stuff. So really, it's not much different. Even with the Sharia law, this is going to anger the Muslims who called in. They still argue about what it means, how it's applied, who it's applied to in every case. I mean, there's always exceptions and problems with it. So what it comes down to then is shared goals and desires and preferences. And so do you want to see your streets littered with dead carcasses of people who've overdosed? I don't. You don't. Most people don't. So if that's the problem that you're seeing, then the question is, well, how do we stop this? And if that means making laws, then so be it.
But then wasn't there an era of like fighting drugs and stuff like that. And that's how we even got to this scenario where it's like, let's just try stop fighting it.
Yeah, you got to get to you have to get to the root cause of the problem. And if you lean far left, then of course the problem's always systematic racism or not enough money, wealth transfer. That's their solution. If you lean right, like I do, the solution is encouraging people to only reproduce when they have the mental capacity and the financial capacity to do so, and have great fathers in the home. That's how you prevent, like, the risk of drug addiction it plummets if you have a good father in the home. So how do you get good fathers is the next question. And that is, I think the solution to that problem is you start to advertise a society where great fathers are valued, respected, desired, and you kind of go poo-poo the queer community and say, no, we need masculine figures to be great fathers, so we don't have kids dropping out of high school, so we don't have kids taking up drugs, and we don't have kids committing crime. You don't need a holy book for that. You don't need a God for that, but you do need to encourage it and value it, and definitely not like poo-poo it. I should take this speech on the road, right? I could do a 10-city tour.
Yeah.
But I understand. Right. I understand the libertarian stance that I
libertarian
really
leaning.
Yeah,
leaning. Because I do think as soon as you go libertarian, it's like it becomes chaos. But yeah, just to go back to the point, which is like, how do you determine? Like when you're raising your kids, how are you determining? And then what's the concept? Like, for example, the Christians will say that you're actually just stealing from their moral principles when you raise your kids the way that you do.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. If a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew says, "Doug, you're just borrowing from our worldview," okay.
No, I get that. That's fine. What I'm saying though is going back to, like, how do you determine what you're going to raise your kids on if you don't have, a guiding principle, like some. I get that, throwing out the holy book. I mean, like, for example, the left have their own
goals,
holy book.
through preferences, like,
okay.
So through being smart,
and that's why you basically say everything that's moral just comes down to like your moral preferences. And if there are more people that fit my moral preference, we'll win.
It's not that complicated. People tend to make morality way more complicated than it is. But like, I don't want my kid to be hooked on drugs and be homeless on the streets. Most parents are like me. So what steps do we take to encourage?
You've done the thing there. Sorry, you've done the thing there though, where you say we agree on what's good, that we don't want our kids on the street.
So, okay,
the drug thing is really just is a perfect example in our country where we've decided to just let it go and see what happens. And it goes back to the point of, like, allow people to do what they want as long as it doesn't hurt other people.
Yeah, and the thing is the butterfly effect. Usually, even things that we don't think will hurt people sometimes does. And
yeah, exactly.
So a prime example of that is the queer community movement, thinking, we're not hurting people by talking about gender fluidity and non-binariness in grade 3. Are you sure about that? Are you sure you're not hurting society? Maybe we are. And because we feel sorry for a group of people, we're really willing to take that risk. Well, I'm not willing to take that risk. I'm okay with teaching none of that stuff because of the potential down the road of screwing kids up mentally.
Again, then it comes to an issue of being able to know what the outcomes would be, right?
Well,
You'd admit that?
Yeah, but I think we have some evidence to back that up. Like, then the good question is, chicken and egg is what comes first. Does the mental problems cause the, let's say, non-binary and trans stuff, or does the being encouraged or embraced into a certain group or tribe cause the mental problems later and the confusion later? That's, a good question.
I mean, like the in my opinion, like from where I sit, the woke uprising is really a pushback against a certain. I mean that goes to the pendulum thing, which is there's always a pendulum in our culture. In our society.
And it's definitely swinging the other side now, especially here in
I'm
the
always
U.S.
the guy who's pushing the pendulum, trying to push it to center. I don't know.
Yeah, well, center is also subjective, and but yeah, I think both Canada and the United States sees the dangers in the queer ideology. I know, just me saying that right now. Some people on the left are going crazy right now. They're turning.
You see, I don't
blood pressure
even
is going up.
disagree with it though, at the core. At the core, it seems like fine.
What seems fine?
The core ideas seem fine to me.
What's a core idea that seems fine?
Well, that's a good question. It's really just
Do you think males being able to identify as women, that being taught in grade 2 is a good thing? I don't.
I don't even know. I don't even think I can. I don't even think I could say no, but I definitely can't say yes.
Are you a father?
No.
Yeah. If you ask most fathers,
that's why
they probably say,
difficult.
no, that's not a good thing. Like even the idea of, you know what, you don't have to be a boy, you don't have to be a girl, you can be non-binary. That being introduced to a child in, let's say, even grade 4, grade 5, do you think that's a good thing? I say no.
Yeah, it probably because of what you're saying is that on itself is not bad, but it's the effects of that you're saying are bad. Whereas nothing implicit in that is wrong, but it's the effect of it that you're saying is wrong. Is that correct?
Yeah, that can lead to confusion. Like kids,
on its face is fine, right? Would you agree with that? On its face, just on paper, you're just telling people that there's another way to live.
Right, there's another way to live, but it can be just, reality-wise wrong. Like if you say, but then it becomes definitional, of course, like what's a man, what's a woman, but there's even people now who are mixing and matching gender with sex and saying that you can become female and become male. You can become intersex. I mean, these are, the world's gone mad.
See, I think a lot of the problems with that are on the pendulum swing, not on the, and what I mean by that is the overcorrection to a problem that I think our society saw 20 years ago. And we're still sort of fighting back the pendulum back to center. Would you agree with that?
What's the pendulum swinging from?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, it was like impossible to be gay without being made fun of for being gay. But I think in our culture now that it's the idea was to normalize it so that it wasn't ostracized. But then what happened was it became this weird thing where now you have like 50 genders. So I think that the initial pushback was something that I think you and I would agree with, but then the pendulum swings with momentum too far past the center and becomes what we're in now. And now we're trying to push it back the other way.
Yeah.
My fear is that now there's people pushing it back and trying to swing it all the way back to the other side. And then you have people who are afraid that that's what's going to happen. Obviously, I consider myself to be very centered. So I'm always trying to look at it.
Don't be proud about that, though. I sense from you. I am proud. I sense from you that
I think I'm better than everyone else because I've already gone to both sides of the pendulum and then found where it's middle, where the equal is.
Yeah. Okay. Let me challenge you on that.
All right. Well, you're going to challenge me that I'm not centered, or that center is not good.
That you shouldn't be proud to be a centrist.
Okay.
And here's why. Let's see. What's the best?
So
way?
I should. Are you saying that I should be shame? I should feel shame for being in the center and not choosing the side?
I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should be
okay.
shamed.
So I should just not be proud.
Just not be proud. Point number 1: there are no great people in history that have been centrists. They've all been far left or far right.
Yeah, for example, that's my point. I think that's okay. Sorry, go ahead.
So, for example, the progressives pushing for the women right to vote. That was a major accomplishment, right?
Say it one more time.
The women gained the right to vote. That was a progressive thing from the far left.
Suffrage.
The slaves being freed was a progressive thing from the far right, actually. Lincoln freed the slaves. These are great things that help society, but they weren't centrist ideas. There weren't centrists out there in the time of slavery saying, you know what? I think for the next few hundred years, we should have slaves, but just not as many. Maybe cut it in half, and then we'll see how it goes. Like, we don't want to ruffle too many feathers. We want to make sure everybody's happy. That's what a centrist would say.
You've only made me more proud of being centered.
Are you more interested in making people happy?
No, I don't give a shit about that.
Okay, well, hey, maybe I got to figure out, what do you mean by centrist?
Centrist, that's a good point, actually. What do I mean by that? What I think I mean by centered is that on any sort of political issue, there's always like really two strong sides, the far right and then the farther right and then the far left and the farther left.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel like I'm somewhere in the middle where I'm aiming for where no one else is aiming for. So people are saying like, it needs to be this way. And I'm like, yeah, kind of, but it needs to be this other way. And it's like, yeah, but a little bit of that, but not quite that much.
Okay, you're exactly the person I described. Let's take slavery. Imagine we live a couple hundred years ago. How would you be centrist with the slave issue?
That's a hard question to answer, but let me think.
Sounds like you would be exactly the way I described you. Well, okay, slavery is bad, yeah, but no slavery. I mean, I can see their point too. We need it. We need our food, and we need our cheap labor. So why don't we just cut slavery in half and make both sides happy?
It's tricky to do because in order for me to put myself in that time, I'd have to basically re-indoctrinate myself to be what kind of person would I think about this issue, because we don't have our modern perspective on it, right? If you teleport me back there, I'm obviously going to be very one-sided on this issue.
Okay, so you would not be a centrist back then.
Back then, but I'm saying that I'm centered and that all of culture and all of society has always been wrong except for when they agreed with me. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's modernize it. An issue today.
I think that's probably what I'm saying, is that my ideas is the ideal, which
no, I'm saying you don't even have ideas.
Okay.
I think you just want.
That's true. Actually, I think you're right. I don't have ideas. Yeah.
I think you just don't want to be hated, and you're scared you're scared to take a stand.
You're so wrong about that.
Okay,
point. So you are so wrong about that.
Okay, so you're a centrist. Give me your opinion on males competing in female sports.
Yeah, I think it's insane.
That's not a very centrist thing of you to say.
What would a centered thing to say on this? I think a centered thing, which was my actual perspective, which is that in competition, it's different because you define it differently, and therefore it's just a different issue altogether. But if I saw, Buck Angel, I'm not even going to think that that's actually, I forget now. Buck Angel is which one? This is a terrible example, but if I see a person
should men play with women in sports?
Well, I'd say yes, but in like an open league. I know that's being a little dodging your actual question. I'm evading it, but I would say
what's an open league?
Open league is like anyone can play. It's usually just men because they dominate it.
They're usually just men because they dominate it. So so what would happen to women's sports?
But come on, do you not? But so I think what you're saying is that my perspective that men shouldn't face women is not a centered perspective, and I think it is.
You think it's a centrist position to say that men shouldn't play in women's sports?
Yeah.
Because I say,
but I also think it's a centered. But I also think it's a centered position to say that I would identify someone as you're to be.
Okay,
and if they correct
the far left, the progressive woke left.
I think you shouldn't be thrown in jail for that, though. So that's what I mean. Like every time, every opinion I have it goes, well, that's a little bit right, and that's a little bit left, that's a little bit right, that's a little bit.
Let me tell you the far left and far right perspective on men and women's sports. The far left, progressive woke, would say, yes, if they identify as a woman, males can play in women's sports. Okay, that's the left perspective. My perspective, I'm going to call myself a far righter on this one. No males, no men. I define men as males, adult males. No men in women's sports. Full stop. Males against males, females against females, intersex. You can go into males. Full stop. And if that makes people cry, then go ahead and cry. Now that's the far right. Now, what's your centrist position?
Would you agree with the open league concept?
You just admitted that open league is the same as male.
No, I said it ends up being the same as male.
Right.
Yeah,
same as male.
So would you agree that open league is? Would you agree with that stance that like there should be open?
So you basically your centrist position is get rid of women's sports.
No. Okay. Let me back up a bit, because centered will change based on the craziness of your society. And I'm not trying to say that I'm centered in this society. I'm basically trying to say I am the balanced pendulum. I am the result of what everyone should think. And I'm admitting that obviously that sounds crazy.
You're the result of what people should think.
Myself sorry?
You're the result of what people should think.
I wouldn't even say that everyone should think that what I think. I think everyone should think what I think.
Should women's sports exist where males can't compete with them?
You're really stuck on this one. Okay.
Well, this is a prime example why you can't be a centrist.
That's what I'm saying is, my point is you're saying that my definition of centered will change based on society. Right? That's what you're saying. If all of culture switches to some crazy result, I am no longer centered in my. That's what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to do a split down the middle fallacy where it's just like we sum up the craziness on the left and right and I'm in the middle. I'm trying to say that I'm the balanced pendulum. When you have these ideas,
give me an example of where you're a balanced pendulum on any issue.
I did on this example with women's sports. I would say no, men and women should not be in the same sport. Well, I agree with the concept.
That's the right wing position.
Exactly, but I would identify a male as a female if they wanted me to. And I was
whoa. You would see. This is exactly. I predicted what. You just don't want people not to like you. You just succumbed.
Why do you think that it's because I care what people think about me? I care about
Daniel, because you just said it. You just said it. I would say a male is a female if they wanted me to. If they wanted me to.
For myself, I would do that. For me.
Why are you doing it for you if you don't believe it?
Why would I do anything for you?
Why would you do it
for me, buddy?
Why? I'm asking you a question. Why would you do it for you if you don't believe it?
Because I want it. Oh, no. I see. This is going back to now. I would be a leftist in your opinion because I do agree with the split between gender and sex.
That's not what you said. You said male and male. You would do what they would want.
See how it's confusing when you're in the center because people try to put you on the right or the left, and it's like you don't fit in any box. Sorry, let me go back. Okay, go back. Sorry, I lost you there.
Maybe you misspoke, but you said that if someone wanted a male to be called a female, you would do it.
This gender stuff is very confusing. You know that this gender stuff is extremely.
Okay, so you did misspeak.
No, I didn't misspeak. The reason I would identify somebody, well, for two reasons. The main reason would be because it's just easier to identify something. It's easier to not create ripples or waves. It's easier not to fight with people.
What do you care about ripples and waves?
Because what do you mean? I want my life.
I thought you didn't care about what people thought of you.
I don't. Well, I don't do it for the reason of what other people think about me. I do it for the reason of what I think about myself.
Oh, so you feel bad when you cause other people to feel bad?
Not really.
Okay, then who cares if you cause ripples and waves and when you state your beliefs?
I just rather not. It's my preference. It's just my preference.
I know, but do you know why you have that preference?
Ooh. I don't. Can you tell me? Why do I have this preference? Is it because I'm indoctrinated to think this way?
No,
I think it's because you think you can do verbal harm to people? Like, can I say something that causes?
Sure, you can do verbal harm to people.
So if I have to cause you harm verbally, I'm going to, but I don't have to. And so if someone presents and appears to be female and then asks me to, hey, I'm actually a woman, I'm not going to go out of my way. Especially, I think it's insane when people go out of their way to misgender people, where this is, again, see, I think a strong right leaning would be like, I don't care, I'm just going to call you what I think you are. But I think you'd have to go out of the way to like do this whole, well, I need to know what your chromosomes are in order for me to address you properly.
Gendering has nothing to do with chromosomes. Remember, you said that you got to separate gender from sex.
I agree with that. I think that there are people who go out of their way to misgender people because they're basing it on chromosomes rather than appearance.
If they're going out of their way, I don't think you can actually go out of your way to misgender someone, because if someone appears to you as...
Oh, there's tons of people who do it on purpose. Someone appears to you to be a female and you go out of your way to address them as a male or as a masculine, whatever, as a man.
Yeah.
Some people do that, and I think that's insane. I think it's
but to them, they're not misgendering. They're saying what they're seeing. That's what I'm saying.
I think they're going out of their way to say I think that they have religious principles just like the left do. And I think that they're binding themselves to those religious principles, being like, I have to address you as a man because you're a male, even though you present as a female, look like a female, and that you want to be addressed as a female. I don't see why it's such a big deal.
Well, it's kind of a big deal for some people if they think they're lying to themselves. So, for example, let's say I'm quite sure you're a male, just from your voice.
No, I'm definitely not.
You're not a male?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to call you a dude, a guy, a he, a male. Are you offended? I purposely misgendered you.
No.
Okay, so no harm's been done, right?
No, but okay, let's follow this example. And let's say I do want you to call me a female. I do want you to address me as a woman.
Okay.
And it harms me that you do so.
When you
don't.
Be harmed.
Yeah. Right. And I totally agree with that.
You agree with that?
I do. Yet, PineCreek, I will still address you as a female. I'll still address you as a woman if you want me to. Okay. If I have a relationship with you, if I know you, let's say we're coworkers, let's say we're buddies. And you're like,
okay.
Hey,
so if I ask you right now to address me as a she, as a woman,
only because you're not doing it in, obviously it's not in true faith. It's not in good faith, but yeah, I would.
You would.
Yeah.
Even though in your mind you would think male.
So back to your point, I am not such a baby that I can't do that. It doesn't hurt me to address you as a female. If I wanted you to call me a woman, would it hurt your feelings? Would it bother you, PineCreek? Would it get under your skin? Would it make you not happy? Are you incapable of doing so?
Let's say it did.
Let's say it did. Then you're a baby. Grow up. Be a man.
But you're hurting me.
No. So in this example, you're not addressing me the way I want. Or sorry, I'm not addressing you the way that you want.
I want you to address me as a woman, please. And if you don't, you're hurting me.
Correct. And I can agree with you on that. Or you agree with me on that. And you're saying it's fine. You can just, that's fine.
Is it fine for you to hurt me?
In this context, I think that the amount of pain being caused is negligible. Maybe that's probably what it would be. I'm going back to the point though.
You don't sound like a centrist to me. You're willing to say, "Hey, I view you as a dude, as a guy. If you're hurt, it's not that bad."
All right. So
is that a centrist position?
Where am I then? Tell me, because I don't know. It's how can you possibly know what the center is if you're basing on culture? I already admitted that we agreed originally that we're not really sure what it means to.
My guess is on some issues you lean pretty much right, and on other issues you lean left. And maybe in your mind, that's why I asked you what you meant by centrist. That if you average them all out, you're centrist. But I think on any given issue,
and I think that's the wrong way to do it.
I think on any given issue, you're left or right. In other
issue,
words, I don't even think centrists exist.
So I don't exist.
Yeah, I deny your existence. I'm going to treat you like a trans person.
Can you not agree with my point, though, on this, which is that...
You just want to be loved.
No, I don't. Why do you keep going back to that?
Because you call yourself a centrist.
I'm not calling myself.
Centrists are very needy. They're almost more needy than the woke left.
All right, do you want me to change the concept of centered? And what I mean by this centered thing, let me explain what I'm really getting at, is that you agree that there's a pendulum. Society has this pendulum that swings back and forth. By centered, I just mean where the pendulum lies at rest. Where it's not chaotic, going crazy this way and then crazy that way. Where you have crazy gender ideology, and now there's a pushback against it. But then there was a pushback against that way a long time ago. That's what I mean by centered.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, though.
I understand what you're saying, but I just think that
on certain issues,
I don't think the pendulum ever stops swinging.
On most issues, I would say I'm right, but I think on any given issue, I can easily push back where I think that the right view seems crazy, and it does seem insane to me that you would go out of your way to do something to your that's principled to you, but makes your life harder, I suppose, that causes harm to other people. I think it's something like that.
Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And you summarized it quite well. Like when I said for you to address me as a woman, and then you said, oh, sure, I'll do that. And
I think I'm tough enough. I think I'm strong enough to address you as a woman.
And I think you said that if you weren't going to address me as a woman, and I said, well, you're hurting me, you said, suck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do something that's going to cause you...
To me, that's not a very middle of the pendulum type stance.
What about where I said that I would address you as a woman because it's not hard for me to?
Yeah, that would be more of a centrist position.
But that is my position.
That is your position. Well, that's sort of my position too. But I would also say that I've told people that declared pronouns are useless. So I didn't always believe this. I changed my mind on this, I don't know, maybe a year ago now. So if you have to put your pronouns in your bio, it's completely and utterly useless. In other words, the best type of pronouns are the ones that are assumed. So if I have to tell you I'm a he, then it loses all value. You should just be able to see I'm a he. Now, could you be wrong? Of course. But the most powerful pronouns are the ones that are assumed. And the only reason why people put pronouns in their bio is because, I know the reason, because they've told me, is because they don't want to other people. They don't want people to feel ostracized. It's all about feelings of mental well-being and emotional well-being and that sort of thing. But the problem is they're shooting themselves in the foot. Because if you have to tell people what your pronouns are, you've already lost. You already have admitted that you don't look like the gender you identify with, and so you have to remind people to share in this identity that you've embraced. And you're defeating the purpose of pronouns.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly agree with the issue of pronouns being, I think that the issue of pronouns is going back to the pendulum swings. It's too much focus on it because it's people pushing back on something. Like, what are they pushing back on? Right? There are a few people who get misgendered. And so then there's this big movement that starts to make everyone think a certain way so that we change this dynamic in our culture. Would you agree with that so far? That it is a pushback? That this whole gender thing ideology is a pushback of some other thing, some other cause?
Currently, I think it is to try to garner support or good feelings, good vibes.
I think that's level 2. I think that's like the secondary effect. You have the pushback initial, and then you have virtue signaling for people to find a way to say that they're good people.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But whether it's secondary or primary, I think it's more primary.
I think it's secondary. I think that's the virtue. It's the desire to.
I bet you if you were
portray
to
yourself as a good person, which you get with the religious people too.
I bet you if you were to actually do a study, and I bet people wouldn't even attempt the study, but if you were to do a study on how people are raised, and then if they identify as non-binary and or trans later in life, I would say the vast majority of the time, vast majority of the time, that there is a high correlation to how kids are raised versus basically that it's social, it's environment, it's not biological.
You're saying what's social?
Transness and non-binariness. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying the
Not
vast
100%.
the vast
See how you
majority.
automatically want to go. See how you want to.
In other words,
go not 100%.
What?
Well, you see how you said you automatically want to go. Well, not 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm giving
I agree with that.
I'm giving the possibility open that there is a genetic component to it. But what I'm saying is, if you took all the trans people in the world, and if we could run this thought experiment where it's a time machine, and I'm the father for every trans person who's ever lived, from who are currently trans, but we put them back to a baby, and I'm their father. I would say 95% of them will not be trans by the time they're 20 if I'm their father. Not because I'm like, no, you shall not be trans, and I'm hammering at home or something. No, it's because there's probably not an abusive, narcissistic, emotionally distraught, mentally ill mother who's raising them. There, that's judgmental. That's not a very centrist thing to say, is it? Did I lose you?
No, I'm thinking.
You're thinking? You disagree?
No, I mostly, like 98% of the time, I agree with you.
Okay, maybe we should leave it there then.
Yeah. Come back to Canada.
Why? No.
Come back. We need you.
No. Well, you need me, yes, but I'm not going back. I'm so proud to be a U.S. citizen.
No.
Traitor. Yeah. If Canada and the United States ever get in a war, sorry, I'm fighting for the U.S.
I mean, we'll burn down your White House again for the 7th time.
Oh, you're right.
We're getting very good at
you and your horses, RCMP.
Yeah, you won't see us coming. You want Elon Musk to turn off all.
By the way,
our,
and to all the Canadians listening, you're welcome for universal health care that the United States provides for you. What do you say, Doug? What are you saying, Doug? It's because of our military, you guys can afford to have universal health care. Imagine if you guys had to defend yourselves. You're welcome.
That's one thing that this election cycle has brought to perspective for me. It's like how much the U.S. is involved in fucking up all the other countries and stuff like that.
And helping other countries.
Yep.
All right. Anyhow, see you, Daniel. Okay. How long have I been going? It feels... Okay, I haven't looked at the time. It feels like 3 hours, 15 minutes. Answer is 2 hours, 59. Whoa, almost exactly 3 hours. Okay, focus on the live stream chat. Disconnected again, but it's back. What would a centrist do if the Aztecs were sacrificing people? Yeah, great question. I asked something similar to that with this slavery question. I hope P.F. Young is listening. He prides himself in being a centrist as well. I don't think you should take pride in being a centrist. I really don't. I think people who say they're centrists say that because they seem more reasonable. I want to be viewed as reasonable and thoughtful and intelligent. But on an issue-by-issue basis, you lean one way or the other. Centrism is not based. Centrism is for losers. That's a non-central idea. Should I put all my money in Bitcoin? No. Should not put all your money in any one thing. Unless you can see the future. Linguisti, we don't fall for emotional traps like you, Doug. Yeah, the guy who's typing 3 or 4 things in a row. Not emotional at all. Poof. My apologies to Justin Trudeau. He was scheduled to come on the program and defend Canada in all its beauty, but we ran out of time.